Ooh, that's a real cork.
Have you ever wondered what was out there in the night sky? Stared up at the stars in the hopes of seeing something out of the ordinary? Have you ever heard unexplainable noises coming from a vacant room, or watched a shadow cross the wall in front of you? Have you asked yourself if there's life after this one, or if you had life before? What about strange creatures that are mythical and elusive? Have you experienced deja vu, or felt a prompting to leave because you felt you were in danger? What if tomorrow you were on the fringe?
Hello, and welcome to another episode of On the Fringe. Joining us tonight are our co-hosts Pam and Jess Notebooks, and special guest Enzo Cyril. Phil's going to try to join us a little bit later. And before we get started, I'm going to go ahead and give our sponsors some FaceTime.
Hey, this is Mark with What If Tomorrow and What If Tomorrow on the Fringe. Be sure to check out our website, whatiftomorrowmedia.com, and look at our cool merch. We've got t-shirts, hoodies, posters, and more. Our affiliates are Duke Cannon, EMP Shield, My Patriot Supply, and Conflicted the Game. Or check out buymeacoffee.com/whatiftomorrow and buy us a coffee. And as always, be sure to like, comment, and share on both Facebook and YouTube. It helps get our content out to others and help our channel grow. Now on with the show.
And welcome back. And tonight we are going to recap the Bordertown Paracon that we had this last weekend. So, I mean, it was an amazing show, guys. We had good crowd. We had good crowd that stayed with us all day. And I think everybody had a good time.
I know I did.
I'm not hearing anything but good. So yeah.
And we really enjoyed having you, Enzo. We really did.
Thank you very much for inviting me. It was a lot of fun, and I was I shouldn't say I was surprised, but having seen other Paracons and things like that, and knowing some of the people that work there, where it's just pandemonium kind of backstage kind of thing, I didn't really notice that much on Saturday.
And that is all thanks to our MVP of the show, Jessica.
Yes, because I take all the crazy on to myself.
She had us all with
my wife says, "Hey, y'all."
Hey, Chris.
I'm friends with one of the people that runs Contact in the Desert this past year, and she was pulling her hair out every 10 seconds. It was, and we only saw her a couple of times throughout 3 days because she was constantly running and putting out fires backstage kind of stuff. It was
Jess makes it look easy, and I know that it is not.
Yeah,
I know it is not either. She did make it easy.
It's a little bit of a tap dance, but I don't think I have it that bad. Somebody, I can't remember who it was, one of the panelists mentioned it to me that they really enjoyed the Paracon because they felt like it was very homey. They didn't feel like that there were, like people above talking to other people. Everybody got along with everyone, and it's very homey feeling, and everybody, even the panelists, are willing to put forth an effort to help it go along correctly. Yes. So I don't ever feel like I'm the only one there to put out the fires. I have, Mark and Pam and the rest of the Bordertown crew, and, even Enzo and stuff, if something needs to get done and I can't do it all myself, I can always trust on somebody else to be, go send them that way to fix that or...
Yep.
So
and a big
it's not nearly as hard.
Big shout out to all of our volunteers.
Oh yeah.
They really helped. I mean, the show it was great. I had one panelist tell me They thought it was a very personal show. They felt connected to the audience, and I thought that was a good thing. I think we're big enough to be fun, but not so big that it becomes a real pain in the butt for everybody who comes.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I never, there was a lady that we've been chit-chatting with from Wamego, Kansas. She contacted me just a month ago. Her and her crew run the Haunted Theater in Wamego, Kansas, and they were looking to do a fundraiser and had thought about just getting up online and seeing if they could find any Paracons in the area.
I think she froze up.
Oh, no. And kind of see how it runs. Did I freeze up?
Just for a
you
second.
did, and then you went really, really fast afterwards.
It's one of those time anomalies. You skip for a second.
So yeah, lady from Wamego wanting to run her own Paracon so they could do a fundraiser. And she actually drove all the way down from Wamego with a couple of other people to come and see it. And she was like, I don't know how you do this. She goes, but this is wonderful. Bless her heart. They're going to try to get it done by January. I don't know if that's going to happen or not.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Last year was the first year that we did this, in a big way. Yeah. Last year was the first year we did our Paracon in the big way. It wasn't just a little tiny small deal or whatever. And Pam and I busted our butts to get it done. And we started in like April, May.
Yeah, we were like, oh, we have 6 months. Yeah, we have 6 months. We can do this.
No.
And we still didn't get everything done that we wanted to. No. And we were literally the week out, like killing ourselves to make sure stuff was completed. So bless her heart. I told her good luck, and I floated her some of our panelists and stuff. I was like, go around and ask everybody and see if you can get them up there. But I don't know. I wish them all.
So far, I think I only know of one panelist that she talked to that might not be able to make it, but everyone else was going to try. So
sweet.
Yeah, she's like, I feel like I'm poaching all your panelists. And I was like, it's totally okay. It's to a different audience.
We're a community.
You know,
we
you're far
need
enough
to
away.
stick together.
Audience.
Yeah.
It's not a competition.
No,
it's all about getting that word out and that education. So
absolutely.
You were talking about another credit to you actually had another person that was asking you, how are you doing all this? Jim from the Geneseo Museum was also asked you a couple of times.
He seemed very impressed, and I was impressed with him.
Yeah.
When I saw him, I was like, man, he looks familiar, and I couldn't place him until the UFO panel. And then I'm like, that's where I seen him because I follow their page. And I was like, okay, that's where I know him from. So that was really cool. He came.
Yeah, and so really did you want to tell our audience who he is just a little bit, what Geneseo is all about?
The Geneseo Museum, it's a small town in central Kansas, I guess. It's about an hour plus north of me in Wichita, just a little south of Salina. And it's mostly it's a Dr. Jennings, I forget his name. It's his old house, who's the town doctor in the 50s and 60s and into the 70s.
Yeah.
And it's a majority of his old house is just filled with tons of memorabilia from when the town was first initiated in the late 1800s all the way up to today. They have every single yearbook for their local school. You know, the first one in 1892 or whatever year it was. It's like two people graduated, from the school, that kind of thing. When they first got telephone service to the town, he still has the original all wooden box with vacuum tube switchboard that the switchboard operator would use, where you had to physically pull the cord out and plug it into the person you wanted to talk to, that kind of thing.
Hi, Alicia.
A lot of really interesting stuff there. It's pretty amazing. But where this panel would probably be more interested in, other than the small town America kind of a feel for the museum, is that Doc Jensen was an avid UFO enthusiast. He went on local investigations. He's got maps of the area with little circles and X's all over them, and did a ton of interviews, and all of it. It just basically, he was like one of us. He was a genuine UFO investigator, pre-internet, pre-telephones in a lot of areas still in that time frame in rural Kansas. And basically everything was by mail. You would like maybe read something in a newspaper from like Kansas City or something like that that was weeks old, and he'd truck out there to talk to whoever it was that had a sighting and things like that. And it's he only has it's like one smallish room in the house that has all of his stuff, and there's not a square inch of the walls and every table and everything that's not covered in stuff. And when I was there last year, he swore up and down, it's like, I've got tons of boxes I haven't even opened yet that are just UFO stuff.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, sweet.
That's awesome.
Sweet. I would love to browse that collection.
So would I.
No kidding.
I would pay money to browse that collection.
And especially when you think about the time of those sightings that he took note of. I mean, that's back when there definitely wasn't anything like that in the air that would have been explained easily.
Exactly.
Back in that era too, for ufology, there were a lot of sightings and full-blown conversations and saucer rides from very, very human-looking aliens back in those days. That's your like your injured cold types back in those days. I remember he has this one picture that he had up on the wall. It was the solar system, but it included the planet Clarion, which it was.
I saw that.
It was theorized back, before we started sending satellites and stuff out, that there was another planet in the same orbit as Earth, but it was on the opposite side of the sun. And because we circled the sun was always between, so we'd never see it, kind of a thing. So.
Interesting.
Maybe there's a whole other group of people out there on Clarion. Of course, that's not really true. Astronomy wise, the Earth's orbit isn't a perfect circle. It's kind of elongated a little bit. So there would be a period of days where we would see each other along the edge of the sun. But there's been a few sci-fi movies based on that very thing.
Right. And, there is the theory out there that intelligent life out there might look a lot like us because some other race planted
the seeds,
planted populations all over.
Yeah, I've heard a couple of things along those lines, and they even actually addressed that to explain why all the aliens look the same on Star Trek, on Star Trek Next Generation episode, where it was exactly that, where it was a very ancient race spiraled through the galaxy and was just seeding various planets. That's why Vulcans and Klingons and Romulans and people from Earth all kind of look really close to each other, because the DNA was based sort of on them, which they were also a humanoid type thing. But there's been some arguments in the biology circles that a basic, biliteral symmetry kind of biped would probably be a more dominant species than something with four legs, or not that it couldn't exist, but as far as just evolution and everything like that. So, which could explain, because I always used to have a problem like that with like the Greys, which are obviously not human,
right?
But they still have two arms and two legs and two eyes. They have the biliteral symmetry and all that. It's like, that's really close, I would think, for all the wildlife that we have on this planet that doesn't look like us.
Right. Have you heard the theory that octopuses have alien DNA?
I have heard that.
They are very different, mostly because there's nothing. Well, one is there's such a soft, all tissue thing. There's not really any bones in them, so there's not anything, any fossil records to say, oh yeah, these things have been around for millions of years. Plus, they're just the way that they're built. Their brain is, I think it's 8 lobed brains, so it's like located all over the place in their that head type
decentralized.
structure. Yeah,
and isn't their blood different?
I have heard that. I don't know the particulars of it. Biology is kind of my weak.
I'm going to look it up real quick while you guys are discussing.
Oh no, we found Enzo's weak point.
Yeah,
Wow.
biology.
Biology.
I was always bored by biology. Like,
yeah.
While Mark's looking that up, I just wanted to actually say Alicia jumped on and said, hey, she was one of our volunteers this weekend and she did a fantastic job. And we just wanted to say thank you so much for everything you did. Really appreciate it.
She was a big winner of one of the drawings, right? Did she win some stuff?
She did, yeah.
Yes.
She won.
That's actually something I was going to point out to good on you guys for having so many different raffle items. It was like, and it wasn't just like one little thing that you could raffle. It was like the different ghost and UFO encrypted backpacks with all kinds of little tchotchkes in it. That was brilliant.
Those were Jess's babies. She did a great job.
They were awesome. I'm going to share a screen here real quick, just from a quick internet search. And octopus blood is indeed blue because it is copper based. Those and horseshoe crabs. So that is quite interesting.
You know, I'll date myself.
Just like Vulcans.
Or whatever. I remember in 3rd grade being taught that our blood was blue until it hit the air.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were all taught that.
Yeah.
Our blood was blue until it hit oxygen, and then it turned red.
The blood in your veins, because it's already dispersed the oxygen and cycling back around to get reoxygenated.
That's why your lips turn blue.
Yep.
Has been actually a fairly common color to see mine when I was a kid, because I suffered from a lack of oxygen a lot, which probably explains a lot of things.
Yeah, that was back in the same day when they taught us that all dinosaurs were cold-blooded lizards. And nowadays, of course, we have proof mostly warm-blooded and they had feathers. It's like,
yeah, I was gonna say they're
giant chickens.
They're finding all the feathers.
And then people say, "Well, chickens aren't scary." Have you ever watched a chicken fight over a snake? They are vicious.
Turkey.
They are. They're
yeah.
I've been chased by a rooster. That's scary. They have those big old like dew claw thingies or whatever that'll just rip the crap out of you. It's scary.
Mm-hmm.
Not only have I been chased by roosters, I've been chased by geese, which actually hurt very badly. And the most scary thing that I have ever been chased by in my life was a swan.
Oh
yeah, they're
they're mean.
You know what?
Mean.
Swans were kept in moats. They were kept there because they're vicious and they would attack people. So not only did you hear that somebody was trying to get in,
a lot of racket.
They got the crap beat out of them because swans are mean.
The honking from the swan plus the screaming of whoever it is that they're chasing off.
That's awesome.
I guarantee
pretty good alarm
I
system.
screamed when it got me in the rear end.
Oh, I bet.
I had a bruise like that.
Poor Mark. He was a victim of a vicious swanning.
Swanning.
I was
swan
swoggled.
Swan
swoggled. I just made that up. It's okay.
It's a new word.
It's a new word.
It worked. It was fun, and I know like last year we just had panels all day, and this year we split it up with the speakers, and I really like that, and I think a lot of people
I think everybody likes the format. Like I said, I didn't speak with anyone who had a bad time.
No,
all the vendors I talked to want to come back. We're glad that they took the chance.
Mm-hmm.
All the panelists I talked to wanted to come back, and the folks who just came to see the shows, they loved it. So
Christy, I've talked to her a couple of times since the the Paracon, and she is just like, she's thrilled. She did really well. She got to meet a lot of people, make a lot of contacts.
And she's just the sweetest person.
She's awesome, isn't she?
She is. There's not many people I've ever met who's nicer than her.
Oh, I know. She is great.
Yeah.
I get the feeling, though, you don't want her mad at you.
No, I don't think I'd
probably not.
I don't think I'd want it, but you know,
I don't know how you could piss her off. I'm sure you could, but
that's what makes it scary. It's the really sweet ones that really turn vicious when you step too far. Mm-hmm. But she has got to be the sweetest person I've ever met.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so the panels, I think, is where the majority of my stress came from, because we'd never run them before. And when you're relying on a projector and a screen and for sound equipment to work correctly at the right exact time, I think that's where the bulk of my stress came from. But really, after, let's see, we had a panel first, and then we had a presentation, then we broke for lunch. After lunch, and we came back, and I knew that was going to run okay. I was actually pretty okay after that. Everything really ran smoothly. I didn't have to do a whole lot of, you go there and you go there. Everybody pretty much knew what they were supposed to do. And we did have new panelists this year, like Enzo, but the few new ones that we had just kind of fell right into how it went. And yes. I apologize. You had to wait so long, Enzo, but you do realize you could have been on the first two panels too.
Yes.
I understand you were saving the best for last. That's pretty normal. You want to end on a strong note. So not only honest, I didn't put my name on the other two panel lists because I was like, okay, give people a chance, because before I even got there and before I met anybody, I kind of was under the impression it's like I'm probably going to be on every panel, because doing panel like that where it's sort of random, it's not rehearsed, you don't know what's going to happen. A lot of people hate that because it just you might get stuck on the spot and not know an answer and look foolish or whatever. But I thrive in foolishness, so I was more than happy to go there.
Philip has made it! Yay! Hello. What's up, guys? What's up, Enzo? Safe trip home?
Oh yeah,
good.
Yeah. Oh, so that's one of the things I like about our panels. We try to make sure, like, we don't put anybody on the spot except for at the very beginning when we're trying to kind of get an introduction to the audience done. So we know who all we're looking at and where everybody's kind of from. And then after that, we just like to open it up. If you have something to say it. If you don't. And in fact, I think there was a couple panels where a couple of the panelists didn't say anything at all because they didn't particularly fall into the topics that well.
Right.
And that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, if you don't feel comfortable, we're not going to make you talk.
Yeah. The only ones I put on the spots are the ones that I know that can take it. Like Brian Terrell and Enzo can certainly take it, because we're all podcasters too. And we can carry on any inane conversation that we want, because
that is
kind of
my
who we are.
Name. Inane is my middle name.
Yeah. The only time I call people out is when I know.
It is close to insane.
It's one other off, yeah.
Yeah. It's, I have to back up to see crazy.
For Jess, I'd like to add another kudos for you. One of the things I also enjoyed about all the different speakers and even the panels is the timing of each speaker and even the panels I felt was just about right. Because someone that's going on with telling whatever their story is, because how long were all the segments for the folks at home that may not have checked it out?
The presentations, all except for Brian and Jeff's and Brian's were 30 minutes. The rest of the presentations were all 50 minutes, and then each panel was an hour and a half, and a little bit less towards the end of the day, because we use those panel blocks to correct our times if the presentations go a little over, because we wanted to make sure that the presenters got their times in, and sometimes we started a little late, so it was an easy way to kind of buffer that time back in.
And we did let Brian that's the whole reason that the monster panel was right after, or the cryptids was right after Brian, because we knew it'd be a natural flow, and we knew there might be a possibility 30 minutes wasn't time enough for Brian, and it wasn't. We didn't want to cut him off, so we let him go a little over, and it just worked really well.
Yeah. And I stuck the alien panel on the tail end because I knew, well, no, not because I was sure that Enzo would be stuck at the very end, but because I knew
I'm always in the back of the bus.
We were going to end on the alien panel and send everyone out to their cars in the dark.
Yeah.
Yes.
Having heard all
Good
those
idea.
stories and everything, you know.
During a full moon.
During a full moon,
Exactly.
yes.
Maybe that's that ISS satellite that he was talking about. I don't think it is.
Dear.
And that's actually another kudos to Phil for inviting us out to his place for a little barbecue and all that. That was
So
fantastic.
much fun.
That was
Oh,
an
yeah.
awesome meal and an awesome time making new
I'm
friends.
happy to do it.
And what was incredible is we had three different sets that came from, well, I take that back, 2 from Oklahoma City and 1 from Norman that came up for the night before.
Yeah.
And then we had the
So-
guys from Fort Smith come
Let's-
over.
Let's
St.
back
Louis.
up just a minute and tell everybody who's listening, because not everybody knows what we did. So last year we started this. We have a lot of presenters and speakers that come in from a distance, and they have to stay the night at a hotel. And we thought it prudent to give them something to do in the evening, so they feel kind of like the whole weekend was worth their while. And we also wanted to do kind of like a pre-meet and greet, so everybody could kind of get a little bit more comfortable with each other. So last year we actually kind of rented out a diner late in the evening for everybody to sit around and have dinner and chit chat. And it was really great fun, but we stressed out this little diner so badly.
I thought somebody was going to die out of a
Yeah.
stroke or something. It was bad.
They had just done a full Friday night service, and this diner, it's a truck stop, actually. It's one of the most famous ones in the US. They serve homemade pie, and all their food is homemade. They cut their own fries and stuff like this. And they had the busiest Friday night. And then we all came trooping in and took over an entire room. So this year we decided, let's give the ladies a break. And Phil volunteered, because he lives out in a nice rural area of Kansas where there's not a lot of bleed-in light from the nearby towns and the cities. And he offered up his property to us that night and offered to smoke a whole bunch of really great meat. The chicken was freaking delicious.
It's
So
got to be the
good.
best chicken I've ever eaten.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
was
You know,
amazing.
everybody says that, but I don't really like chicken. So
But you
I-
did
I
an
completely
awesome job,
appreciate
though.
it.
Awesome
did.
job.
Pretty good stuff.
well, I appreciate it.
Yeah. So he was cool, and we had a little campfire going, and we all sat in just a big old huge circle and just told stories about investigating and old legends and tales and stuff and personal experiences. And goodness, I think we had 30 people there. I counted.
Yeah,
I believe it was around
Just
30.
about,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
It was
Yeah,
pretty
and-
close. I was trying
Yeah,
to
we had.
count them the other night or yesterday,
Yeah.
and it was really close. And what was funny, my wife, we were sitting out there last night. I was grilling some burgers, and we were sitting out there, and the wife and I were discussing the Friday night. And she's like, every time we have a get together, nobody sits in the fire pit. Everybody sits out around the fire pit. I was like, babe, we had so many people here Friday that we all couldn't have fit in there.
No
We
way.
had to
Yeah.
keep moving the circle out. A little
But-
bit.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a
We're
great
in.
night. It really was.
It was a lot of fun.
And which makes me think
Yeah.
of, I need to send you some pictures. I got the cutest picture of Andrea holding Duke. Oh my gosh. It's adorable. He's looking at her like he loves her.
Oh, cool.
It's so cute.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
It was
think
a
Duke
fun
likes
night.
anybody
and-
with food.
Yeah, for those who don't know, we just got a new dog. Yeah, we just got a new dog like a month ago, and his name's Duke. We rescued him, and
so
he was like
cute.
the life of the
Didn't know
party.
he
You
was
know, he's
rescued.
going around seeing everybody, and I'm sure everybody's getting scraps.
Super friendly
Yeah,
dog.
and
Yeah.
Super
Well,
friendly.
he licked my macaroni
Yeah,
and
he's a
cheese.
rescue.
I'm just gonna say.
Oh, he enjoyed your food.
Oh,
And I lost out on my mac and cheese.
You know that's why, because you had sucker written across your forehead in dog.
I did. Yeah. I had Duke spit on my mac and cheese.
I mean,
Mark,
well,
I just
it's still good.
Mike, did you or Mike make that?
Both. So
Jess,
I
did you or
usually
Mike
kind of
make
make
that?
the mix.
Oh, okay.
I kind of make the mix,
Okay.
and then Mike does the rest of it. You know, he adds all the extras and then smokes it out. It sits for like an hour on low in the smoker, just letting all that cheese and everything melt down in.
Oh yeah.
I lived vicariously through all of you with the mac and cheese.
I know the
Did
kids
you
love
get that,
it.
Mark?
So the kids love it.
I am getting it pulled up so we can share it.
Oh yeah,
And
I have had.
I did love those
so
dark
good.
skies you had out there, Phil. I was in my element then. It's like, oh look, everybody's never seen it. That's the International Space Station right there.
I'm really glad you were pointing that stuff out because I wouldn't have known.
Here we go.
There's Duke.
It was great. I wish the full moon would have been there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Duke was having a night of his life.
He was loving on everybody. Mike set his plate down and he picked it up later and he was like, that plate is completely clean.
No dishes for you tonight.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
But if the moon hadn't come
still
up,
kind of.
Go ahead, Phil.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say if the moon hadn't. No, after you.
Go ahead, Enzo.
No, after you.
I'm going to choose. Enzo, go.
If the moon hadn't risen as soon as the sun was going down, we missed out on I think it was about a 12 or 15 Starlink train of satellites that went directly overhead, but the moon just kind of washed them out. I picked out a couple of them as they were going over, but that's why I didn't bother yelling it out because everyone was like, "Where? What are you talking about?" Kind of had to know what you were looking for to see it.
The ISS was really clear.
Yeah, it was.
That was very clear, and as oddly enough, the Tengang, or I forget how you pronounce the Chinese,
Chinese
space
one,
station also came over shortly after the ISS went over. That's a pretty rare alignment to have all of those things at the same time, to have that. So something was going on.
Interesting.
I'm going to pull up some pictures that I've taken of the night sky without the moon. I just got to get to it. Just put stupid codes in.
Speaking of pictures, we never got any group pictures this year.
I know. I thought of that after we got home. Yeah.
I am always the worst about taking pictures of stuff. As soon as I get home, I'm like, oh, I only took 4 pictures the whole time. It's like,
yeah. I didn't even think about getting any group pictures. So
we didn't even. We were going to try to get in a muck picture too, and Adrian took off before the last panel was over.
I know. What's up with that?
I don't know.
I
guess he thought he had to be home before midnight. Darn it! They made it home like 11:30.
It's one of the hazards of having an open, type of situation where you're not being paid and, you're kind of free to come and go as you please. It happens. Speaking of that, we're taking care of the vendor issue next year. Jason left early, a little bit early. Scott left early. Maybe we should make everybody be on the last panel.
Really see the Milky Way.
Yeah, this is a picture I've taken out here. Without a moonless night. Here's a couple other ones.
Yeah, you can see the banding in there. That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
That one's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I looked your place up today, actually, approximately where your place is, and there's a chart that astronomer nerds like me use. It's called the Bordertown chart, which is it's a measurement of the light pollution in specific areas, and there's an interactive map online where you can click on places. It'll tell you exactly what the the light pollution level is. It goes from 1 to 9, 9 being the highest, which that's like Times Square. You're not seeing any stars there.
Yeah.
Versus a 1 where if the moon's not out, you literally can't see your hand in front of your face, kind of a thing. And where your place is about a 4.
That's not bad. Not bad.
That's actually pretty good.
And actually,
yeah,
it was a good night. You know, I got abducted, and I met a new gal.
Oh boy!
Wait
a minute.
It's Mark and the pod baby.
The pod baby.
Who's the little beanie baby there that kind of looks a little bit like you?
Mark Jr.
No comment. No comment.
Would the TV show be Mark and Mandyke or something like that?
Something like that.
Instead of Morgan and Mindy.
The hilarious thing is I got that inflatable like the week of. I found it on Amazon and they were having like a sale. I got it for like $20.
Everybody loved it. Everybody loved it.
Yep.
We've been trying to have like a photo backdrop area for a couple of years now, and it always fails and nobody uses it. And we gave up this year. We're like, screw it. We're not going to have a photo op area. And I threw that up last minute thinking it'll be fun to just bank and kind of point the way towards the conference room and the vendors.
Everybody took pictures with that.
So,
we should have got it a shirt.
See,
yeah.
See,
it doesn't.
You could also like wait until like the day after Halloween this year for next year because they have those gigantic things like that for people's yards of ghosts and the Grim Reaper and stuff like that.
Oh, which, I know.
You could get one of those for like next year.
He does hit him, but it's for Nightmare on Bradley.
Yeah. I have 29.
I think Jess has it all.
29.
I'm telling you,
and
Enzo, you've got to come down for Halloween.
One of them is 24 feet.
Oh my!
That's Jack, isn't it? That's that big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a vampire Jack skeleton. We have to put him in the driveway because it's the only spot where there isn't tree cover because he goes above our tree line. So
he goes above your house, doesn't he?
Oh,
way above
cool.
I
love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. I mean, we've taken the kids the last couple of years and they enjoy it. I mean, but it's cool. I mean, you're waiting in line. I mean, who can beat funnel cakes for Halloween? I mean, but there's so much going on, so much to look at. It's great. I would recommend anybody nearby going and seeing it. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's actually
people that don't know just exactly what is it that you're talking about.
Oh, so my family puts on something called the Nightmare on Bradley. I'll just give you a little quick backstory. Caney, the town that most of us here are from, is known for its old-fashioned Halloweens. We have specialty houses throughout town that serve just kind of uncouth type of Halloween fare. We have a cotton candy house, and we have a flavored popcorn house. We have a homemade root beer house. We have a 3-foot-long pixie stick house. We have a house that serves weird sodas.
At the library.
Yeah. You get books at the library. The fire station hands out full-size candy bars. And there's many, many more than that. But growing up, I lived on a side of town that didn't have any of that. One side of town is just a little bit quieter than the rest. And if you didn't have a parent to take you around to that other side, you were kind of stuck with just a few little houses with just regular candy. And that was about it. Long after my husband and I got married and we'd had our child Raven, we had the opportunity to move and we found a home on that same side of town, just 3 blocks from where I grew up at. And when Raven was old enough to not want to trick or treat with me anymore, we thought, you know what? We need to hand out candy. And I was like, but I want to make it just a little bit more than a regular trick-or-treating house. So we started out small. We started out just like any other house handing out candy, and it has grown over the years. And now it is a full walkthrough. It's all Tim Burton based. That's why it's called the Nightmare on Bradley. Bradley's our street that we live on. It's themed with every Tim Burton movie, or we try. There's a few more we've got to add on. It's complete walkthrough, and instead of serving just candy, we do serve candy. We also serve fresh funnel cake we make right in front of you. They're not full size. They're not full size because we didn't want that, it's messy and ruin kids' costumes. So what we do is we do mini ones. They're about that size.
Big
and they fit
size?
into, a big donut size. And they fit into a French fry sleeve. We throw them down in a French fry sleeve and shake the sugar down into it. So they can hold them and, pull them out like you would like a burger or something. And they can take them with them. So, and it's just a walkthrough, and we have a photo op area, and we have all these little jack-o'-lanterns along the way that tell stories and bad jokes and creepy stories. And you just walk through and have a good time. And we allow the adults to have funnel cake and candy too. So everybody can have a good time. And that's what the Nightmare on Bradley is.
They have places set up too, where if you have candy you want to donate, you can put in and it gets given to the Blue Star Mothers.
Yes. And the Blue Star Mothers is, of course, an organization for our vets and our military here and overseas. And that candy gets divvied up, and some of it gets sent overseas, and some of it stays here on bases. And a lot of it is given to the vet hospitals and homes in the U.S. So that's what we do. And I always like to tout our kids off. Our kids and Caney are so fantastic. They made sure I had buckets out everywhere for them to put candy into, just kind of sort out their candy, especially the moms and dads. You know what your kids aren't going to eat. And I thought it'd be a great way to sort the candy and get candy to our troops and stuff. But the kids literally were just grabbing handfuls out of their own buckets without even looking and just dumping into these buckets. We ended up donating over 50 pounds of candy to the Blue Star Mothers at the end of it all. So I was just really proud of them. Yeah, but that's what we do. And speaking of donations, Mr. Enzo here brought in 2 ginormous buckets of
huge
candy.
Buckets, like 4-gallon buckets. I mean,
holy cow. And for all of our panelists and our speakers to enjoy they did get a good part of it skimmed off the top there. But
some of those kids were just sitting there eating candy in the green room. I am sure, and they're teenagers. I am sure that were like,
they were wired.
Spent the night clinging to the ceiling.
Right?
I may have stuck a Reese's cup or two myself. So
yes,
Mark,
I did have a few myself.
I just forwarded to you the articles out of the Amuse magazine of Jess's house, because that's the best one that shows the overall.
Oh,
yeah. If you get those, you might throw that up real quick so people can see. Because I mean, you can talk about it, but until you get an overall view of it, you don't understand how freaking cool this is.
Is it one of those displays you can see from orbit?
Pretty much.
Lights everywhere.
So
but it's
absolutely.
Well, we imagine it's like National Lampoon's Christmas, like when we finally kick it on the night before to test it, like they have to put on the secondary.
All of that is just your place. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's not all of it. That's just you're looking at a corner.
That's just what fits on the camera.
Yeah. It wraps around the side of the house too. So
and there should be another one coming in, Mark, that shows that next page, and it's kind of got a whole kind of a collage.
All right. Let's see what we
on
got here.
I know it's got Vampire Jack on it. I can't remember what else is on there.
Yeah. It takes a week to set up. We don't set it up for the whole month of October. Some of that stuff, I mean, it's a lot of money and a labor of love. So we don't want it out in the elements for too long. So we start the week of, start setting it up, and it's only open on Halloween night. But it makes it special for the kids. So
yeah.
Look at that.
Yep.
Isn't that
pretty
cool?
awesome, isn't it?
Wow.
And a lot of the signs just hand painted.
Yeah.
A lot of
the stand-ups and are all hand painted because I can't afford to buy them. So they're just gonna get painted. Yeah. But that's what we do. But that's Caney. And just so you'll know, I told the story earlier how we started and why we started doing it. Since we began, I think it's it's been 8 or 9 years now since we started it. All of the neighbors have started passing out candy and decorating all the way down the street and behind us. So now this area is becoming bigger and bigger with Halloween. So all the kids on this side of town have some place to go.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, we're really excited about it. And we always laugh. We have neighbors catty corner to us that started putting out inflatables when we did. And they keep buying like 2 or 3 more every year, and they have not beat us yet. So I'm not going to let that one happen. No.
Dun, dun, dun.
It is
challenger has arrived.
Halloween in Caney is big on its own too. This was just a huge. This was the icing on the cake for the community because
people come in from out of town to hit Caney.
Oh yeah,
yes.
And Caney's a safe town.
Yeah.
It's a very safe town.
It's one of the very few towns that you can still actually go door to door throughout the whole town.
COVID.
A safe town.
Yeah.
You have
COVID
dogman sightings in the city limits.
Well,
I'm sure if you offered Dogman some chocolate,
that's true. He'd run off that
probably
whole
make him
bucket
sick though. I mean,
we got to looking, and we do every Halloween. The grade school takes the afternoon. And all the kids dress in costume and they walk downtown and all of the parents and the whole community comes out to watch this little Halloween parade go downtown. Then they go back and they have their little classroom parties and stuff. And then when that's over, they can get ready to go. They go eat dinner and then they get to go trick-or-treating. And I have found mention of that back clear into the 20s. I'm thinking I can't remember the exact date, but it's early 20s, might even be the late teens when it started as a parade downtown. So, and it's been continuous. Yeah.
Because like in the larger cities, I live next to Wichita, and kids don't go around in their neighborhoods like like we did when we were kids, or like you're doing there. Mostly it's devolved down to like church parking lots where they do the trunk or treat gag, and they walk around the parking lot with everybody, giving candy out of the back of their truck or whatever, and that's kind of all they get.
Yeah.
Well,
they do
the great
do
thing
downtown.
We do have trunk or treats, but the great thing is like they make sure the trunk or treats are over with in time to allow those kids to go out into the town. Yeah. And another great thing is that there's 2 churches in our town that do something very special. There's a lot of kids who maybe don't have parents available to them to take them around at night, or maybe they're living with a grandma or something who's not capable of getting them out. You can take your kids to these churches and they have these huge hayrack rides, and they put all the kids on there. Wow. And then they take them up and down all the streets, and they stop at each block
supervision
and let them
off. That's fantastic.
And then you go back to the church at the end, and the church throws them a little party, and then they get to go home. So that's for the kids who maybe don't have parents. That's
amazing, man.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
I'm so happy that
kids
kind of stuff
important.
still exists in this country.
Yes,
it does. And like I was going to say earlier, COVID is what broke Caney loose on everybody. Not a lot of people knew that we still had this old small town kind of charm to Halloween. And when COVID happened and everything shut down, Caney did not. Everybody
we had Halloween.
You couldn't stop for Halloween.
Yeah. Other towns were like, there is absolutely no trick-or-treating. There's no door-to-door. If you go out at all, you have to be completely masked. Well, not in Caney. We were like, Halloween is happening whether you like it or not. And it got big at that point. People started driving in from Bartlesville and Tulsa and Nowata and clear up through Kansas and over. People would fly, come in so that their kids could experience what it was like.
Right.
And they got here and realized
Halloween.
Yeah, the kids they drop their kids off at the end of the block and let the kids walk for a little while and get their candy, and then they pull up and keep letting them walk. And
we really have become the Halloween town of Southeast Kansas, which is no wonder why our Paracon is starting to take off. Really.
Wow. Well, just down the road, Independence, they have Newala, and that's huge.
Oh, it's huge.
And,
yes.
We're just right next
It's so
door.
big, I don't like it.
Yeah, it's
I like to go during
I
the
haven't gone
day
to
and
the
get the
parade in a
food
long
vendors.
time. Yeah, I haven't gone to the
I'll go
parade in a
from
long
food
time.
vendor to food vendor. I know, big surprise, but
But yeah, it is pretty cool that, you know, this little dot in Montgomery County, in the overall scheme of the country, here we are, and yeah, Halloween's pretty
it's
cool
big
around
here.
Yeah, it is. I remember
Yeah.
you know, being a little kid running up and down the same streets. Now my grandkids are running up and down the streets.
Yeah.
Halloween.
Just to give you a sense of how embedded it is in our community, if you go out to our cemetery and look up and down the rows, you're going to find a big, huge headstone that has a picture of the Victorian home on it that serves the cotton candy in the community. And it says the Cotton Candy House.
Cool.
Yep.
And that's because the original couple who started the tradition passed, and when they passed the tradition on to their kids, and the kids kept the home and kept doing the Cotton Candy House every year, and they had it put on the headstone.
Yeah.
And it's prominent. It's right in the middle of our cemetery, so even in the cemetery it's Halloween.
Yep,
I may have
every
gotten
day
a
of the
picture of
year.
that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So,
I'll have to look and see if
fun
I have.
times
so great.
in Caney. But I want a big thank you to Enzo, who donated all that extra candy, because we go through candy like crazy. So it's much
Give it all away.
Yes.
I know I probably
This
missed
amount.
it, but that was a ton of candy.
Oh my god. I will be right back.
Oh,
All right.
Oh.
she's
We're
gonna go
gonna-
get some candy.
I
She's
think
gonna go get it.
last year you'll
they're
have to ask
huge.
Jess to make sure. I think she had 800 some kids come through, and this is in a town that has a what is our population? We like, what are we now? Like 1,900, 1,800 people.
Oh yeah, way more kids than live here.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And just at the
Oh.
library, we had to laugh because when we tallied the final numbers, we had 666 people come through just the library last
Oh
year.
wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
All right, are we ready?
We're
I have
ready.
to do it one at a time. Okay, here we go. Okay, here's the first one, right?
Well, to be fair, I got a good bargain on those because they were misprinted. They were all W and W.
Oh.
Look at this.
Reese's cups were always
375 pieces.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I had my
Sam's
fair
I know I ate a
Club
lot of
is sponsoring you this year.
Oh my goodness. All right, I'm gonna schlep this stuff out of here because there's no place for me to
Don't
move
hurt
now.
yourself.
Well, she's balanced. She's carrying 2 buckets at once, and so she's balanced.
I want to say those things were like 14 pounds a piece or something.
They're
Oh my
not
God.
light. They're not
Yeah.
light.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's one of those things you go shopping at Sam's Club. It's like, oh, this will be fine for a whole group of people. And then you like put it next to like normal size things when you get outside of the store. Like, oh my God, that's a lot of candy.
Yeah, really.
I think
That is funny.
with all the candy that was in the green room in the bowl, I don't think that even put a dent in what you brought.
No,
No.
not even
And
close.
I
No.
know of at least
Yeah.
one of those.
I know I
kids
did my
that
best
had
to
their
put a-
jacket pocket full. I mean, I know there was a wad of candy in both jacket pockets that big, and I just looked at him and I said, "Enjoy your tummy ache later."
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I
Well,
tried
there
to
was
put a dent
also
in it, but it
there
didn't
was like
work
a
out too
big
great.
bag of like Starburst and a bunch of other like
Yeah.
non-chocolatey candies, which I got. Which again,
Enzo?
when you saw it like next to normal things, it's like, oh God, that's a lot of candy.
Yeah.
It
I
will
do
get
want to
put to
say
good
thank
use.
you.
Yeah,
I do want to
that's
say
what I'm
thank
having.
you. Very good.
There it is. Look at there.
Yeah,
Little
That's awesome.
Stranahan's does you good.
it's very good. Thank you so
Yep.
much, Enzo.
Now, Jess,
That's awesome.
I did mention to Jess, and I don't remember if I told you, Pam. I think I told Mark. I want to see this Bordertown Paracon get so big, everybody's wearing costumes to come to it. They're all dressed
That would
up
be-
like
yeah, you were
aliens or
telling
ghosts
me
or
that.
whatever.
That would
That would
be
be
freaking
awesome.
awesome. Yes.
We're gonna have cosplayers like Comic-Con.
How fun would that
Heck
be?
yeah,
We
that's
could
what I
have
want. I want it so
Dogman and
big that it does that.
Bigfoot,
Heck yeah.
and that would be great.
Oh my gosh.
Have aliens running around.
Yeah.
It'd be fun.
Yeah.
So we
That would be
should
fun.
talk about how the day went and all the presentations and stuff.
Oh, the presentations were awesome.
They were. I
Presentations were
don't know if I have a favorite. Like I like them all for different reasons.
Exactly.
And credit actually to Jess's husband who rigged up the sound system to where, because I wasn't so sure how that was going to go because it's a big basketball court, it's a gymnasium.
Mm-hmm.
And I like sat all the way in the back to watch most of the presentations to see how the sound was. And there were a couple of people that played like EVPs and stuff. It's like, oh, I can actually hear that pretty well. This actually sounds pretty good.
Yeah,
He did a good job.
Yeah.
He surely did.
It was really good.
We're waiting to save up a little bit more money. We bought the microphones for that. He has microphones. He runs a sound company called Two Guys and a PA. They don't do a whole lot of speaking engagements types of sound backup. They do more like festivals and proms and things like that. And so you really have to like talk into the correct part of the microphone to really get it to come across. And we're still having problems getting some of the speakers to really get in there. It's like, I always tell them, I'm like, get in there and make some sweet, sweet love to that there microphone, because we're not going to hear you otherwise, you know? And
Corn dog, not a carrot, Jess.
That's
exactly.
Right. Corn dog.
A corn dog, not an ice cream cone. So, but yeah, he always does a great job, and he does it all for free because he knows if he doesn't, he'll be sleeping on the couch. So yeah. One of the many ways we keep the Paracon free for everyone.
and that's what I really enjoy about it. It's free of charge for anybody who wants to come and watch.
No charge to get in
And
there.
we want to keep it that way as long as possible, permanently if possible.
Big Willie, where's you at, brother?
There he is.
Wish you would have been here, man. It was a great time.
Yeah,
yes.
Great time.
He was sitting on the couch watching the Lions game. I saw what you were doing, Will. I saw what you were doing.
Our
okay,
eyes
Jess.
are on you, Will.
Okay, so now that Will's on here, what's the date for next year so he can plan it? He has no
September 28th. It's the very last Saturday in September, and it's already held. I've already been up the rec center and moved our holding place over. We have it for the whole weekend.
Yay!
They cleared off Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Whole week, Will.
Whoa, 3 days.
Oh no! No.
God no.
No. Now, there is a small opportunity for maybe us to do something Friday night and then into Saturday, perhaps, or maybe something into Sunday. We've discussed that. But we hold those 3 days so that we can have set up on Friday and clean up on Sunday.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Because as you saw, I mean, Enzo, you saw the workings of it. We have to have some time to like decompress and, you know, if we need to come back in the next day and finish cleaning up, because it's just, it's a mad house in there.
I'm actually still a little sore from setting up.
Sore yesterday.
Yes.
I couldn't sleep last night.
Oh no.
My feet still hurt from it, so
get him down here.
There you
Get him
go.
down here, Willie.
If
That'd
you
be
can
awesome.
do it,
yeah.
I'll
was
put
hoping-
them on a panel.
Heck
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I
You'd be on
was
a panel
hoping,
with me.
Ben and Joe would make it, but they didn't. Yeah.
If we can get
Great.
enough podcasters into our building, we could do a panel of just podcast.
That would be
YouTube
really
would
A
be
cool.
awesome.
podcast panel would be freaking awesome.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
And we'll
I'm taking
we'll
notes.
have we'll have the shows run live too. We can do a live podcast with all of us on the same panel
Now,
with live feeds.
this week,
So-
year's show happened to be National Podcast Day, I believe.
Yes.
It was National Podcast Day on Saturday.
We didn't even remember to. Well, I don't think we remembered to talk about it being National Ghost Hunting Day either. But yeah, it's both. Where there's a
Next year podcast day does not fall on the same day as National Ghost Hunting Day. because it falls on the.
That's all right.
30th
It's still
instead of-
paranormal podcast stuff.
It is. It is. So
It's just 2 days off.
I would love to be able to do a podcaster panel. That would
That'd be cool.
And I
That'd be
I
fun.
think
That's
it would
a
be
great
really
idea.
popular.
Well,
Yeah.
Whiskey will be served. It's
Well, if you think, if you think about it,
I have no problem with it.
The UFO panel, I forget what it was called.
Mm-hmm.
A lot
Our
of us
strange
on there were
skies.
podcasters.
Yeah.
Yeah, our strange
Yeah,
skies.
our
A lot of
mysterious
us were
skies.
podcasters.
It was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because Mark was.
Did you say mysterious guys? I think you're still correct. But
Mysterious skies.
Yes, the
skies,
mysterious
I believe.
Yeah,
skies.
it was
that too,
mysterious
you know.
there. That's
There were
true.
some mysterious guys on there,
That's true.
There was.
including a fashion icon.
the one guy that wouldn't shut the hell up and
The
let anyone else
YouTube
get a word in.
personality that was there.
That's
Well,
amazing.
that's
will-
what we like.
With a capital P on personality.
That's right. I will say that Enzo influenced my son enough to where he wore a Hawaiian shirt to the Paracon.
That's right.
He
He did.
did.
He did.
Fashion icon. Fashion icon.
It was really nice to get. That's the first time. Well, I say it's the
That's
first
right.
time. Actually, it was the second time. No, third time I'd met Levi, because he ran some packages to the library one day, and he's like, "Are
Yeah.
you Pam?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "I'm Phil's kid, Levi." And I was like, "Oh my gosh!" Because when I saw him, he kind of looked familiar just because I've seen his picture. And I was like, "How cool
Right.
is that?" So yeah, it's pretty neat.
Yep.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
had
it-
a
it was
lot of
great
chat.
You may have to get me another Hawaiian shirt so I can look like
I'm
Enzo.
gonna say, I
Telling
think
you,
next year we need
Black,
to wear
black
Hawaiian
t-shirts
shirts
with
for
white
Enzo.
writing on them are out.
I'm gonna do
I
it.
see.
Hey, I wonder if we could find somebody with our logos to make Hawaiian shirts out of our logos.
Oh, that'll be pricey, but it'll be great.
Oh, I bet we can. I am going to
Oh,
start looking
no.
tomorrow.
Do you
I
see,
know they
Enzo?
make
Do
them
you
with
see the
Hawaiian pay for it,
insanity you've
so-
started?
That's what I do.
Um,
Is
He
I
didn't.
start
He didn't
insanity.
start the insanity.
You start shit and then you walk out. Let it run rampant.
I'm just gonna drop this match right.
He's just
Here.
an enabler. He is an enabler.
I don't know how this got. I don't know what's going on. I don't know how any of this occurred at all.
Nerd.
I gotta look this up now.
Oh my goodness.
Well, they have the Hawaiian shirts where they put like the dog faces and stuff on them. You can put.
Oh yeah.
faces
Well,
on
oh,
them.
they make
Yeah.
them with like
You can totally
Bigfoot
do it with
surfing and UFOs.
Oh yes,
There
you
go.
can. I found it.
Totally do it.
I found a place that does do it. First thing,
Did you
Wow.
we can put the logos on them.
Sweet.
Oh no.
It's going to be a thing.
Why are these people
know-
in Kansas ordering all these Hawaiian shirts?
You know that we run this live,
So, Mark,
right?
do we do?
So how that all the color? It's gonna mess with the video camera.
We'll just buy
So
better
Mark,
It's
do we
cameras.
all
do
part of the illusion.
Our
Nobody's gonna be able to watch
Mark,
the
do we
screen.
do our logo, or we do the Bordertown logo, or mix? and
We
match
can
if
mix
can?
all three.
There you go.
We can mix all three. We can do it. Somebody else is going to have to do it though because I suck at graphics and I screwed up the shirts this year.
Oh,
Alicia's trying to help us. We appreciate Alyssa or Alicia.
Yeah, Thornton
So,
Graphics. They probably could. They're here
while
in
we are
Katy.
talking about that, there will be a commemorative T-shirt coming in the next couple weeks, and it will go up on sale on the Bordertown Paracon store.
Yeah.
I will make sure that it's good before I put it up and show everybody. My attempt this year, well,
Phil.
quite frankly, it smelled bad.
It's all right.
Zeus.
We've all
Jason,
we
ghost
all
guy.
have those stinkers that happen on
Yes,
the
yes.
path to Paracon. So
But
Is that
so,
Jason?
so I will make sure to have the
Yes,
T-shirts
Jason.
ready by July of this next year, so that I'm sure that they're correct.
yeah. I was very upset you guys didn't have a T-shirt available to buy there. I was kind of looking forward to it.
well, we will
No.
get you a commemorative one.
Yes.
So
A commemorative shirt.
yes. No, it's gonna
a
be
post
the
commemorative shirt.
yeah, it's gonna be like the Paracon that was.
Yeah.
No, it's just going to be it'll be like the one that I was wearing, only it'll have the correct date on it. And 5th annual instead of 4th annual.
The time traveler Paracon shirt.
There you go.
Hey, time is linear, right?
Oh,
what if we just
not linear?
Not necessarily.
Is it not linear?
If we make the custom Hawaiian
Not
shirts,
linear.
we'll just have to send one to Enzo.
What if we just put like Paracon?
If you'd listened, you may have learned that actually during that last
year.
But
we lost Pam.
Pam is
oh
frozen.
boy. No,
Am I froze?
Wormhole.
Oh, you're not now.
You're good. You're back. You're
Cyril's.
back. Cyril's.
Or Enzo's Rainbows.
I like Cyril's. That's bad.
I said, what if we did like Paracon 2?
Ugh, you got the Cyril.
And then we could just take a white marker and write in the correct year at the end.
Hey, I wonder if we can get the design. I wonder if we can put the design and put an X through the 2022 and put like 2023 out to the side of it and like written in like kindergarten writing or something.
Numbers are backwards and stuff. Yeah.
Right.
That's fun.
Oh no.
Oh, well, I am a little dyslexic, so it could happen. Oh.
My gosh. You guys are fruity. All right, so back to what we were talking about. What was everybody's favorite panel or presentation?
Oh my
like
God.
Brian's.
I think Brian,
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure,
like
Brian's.
Brian's.
I even pick
especially
it up
after visiting. Especially after visiting with the folks that had the encounter of the dog man here in Tyro, which is just a few miles from me.
Yeah.
I want to go looking for it.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe stupid, but I want to go looking for it. Yeah, but I really enjoyed Brian's presentation.
There's a lot of interesting things that happen in that area. So
Yeah, that's where a lot of the UFO sightings are.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. That's what I was telling my wife last night. I'm like, it's weird because where they saw one over by the old caboose, just a few miles down the road, they see a ton of UFOs. I mean, it leads to the question: are they alien? Are they transdimensional? Whatever, it leads me to question a lot of things.
Maybe they're wolfmen from outer space.
I did enjoy Brian's.
Wolfmen from outer space.
It's possible.
And that sounds like a good movie. I would watch that movie.
Wolfmen from outer space.
You watch a lot of questionable
You would
shit.
star in a movie about it.
I probably could. I'm kind of hairy. Well, I mean, I love the space vampires, and I mean, that's a classic.
Brian did do a good job.
Brian always does a good job. He was just in his element, though. That's what he loves to do. In fact, we're hoping come the springtime when it warms back up a little bit to have him in. We do a Bordertown Presents once a month. The first Friday of the month, we have a evening at the library where we invite in speakers and authors and stuff like that, or even it's just us and we're just talking about local haunts and lores and legends. It's absolutely free too, and the public can come in and listen. Enzo's been to one. And we're hoping to invite Brian back. Brian's already done one for us where he put on kind of the presentation that he did for the Paracon. But we're hoping to get him in to do a class on how to properly hunt for a Bigfoot. We like the general areas and what you need to look for and how to cast prints.
Yes, that was one of the biggest questions that we had was.
So we'll it'll be like a fun little.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, I was just going to say I think what he's planning on is doing the first part will be more like a presentation where he kind of discusses with everyone what it is you need to look for and clues and things like that and general areas. And then he's going to take everyone outside to get your hands dirty, and he's going to teach us how to cast prints in different kinds of strata. So he's going to have like sand and like mud and clay, and so it should be fun. So we're hoping to get that set up soon.
Yeah,
this month in October, we are not going to do it the first Friday. It's actually going to be on the 20th. That gives us a little bit of time to recoup from Paracon.
Otherwise, it would be this Friday.
Yeah.
Not doing it now.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be our best work.
I was going to say,
Sure.
Jess, like we talked about in our meeting here a month or so ago, I think that would be an awesome class to present like before the Paracon to pick up interest. Maybe this should be taken off the podcast, but I think you guys would have a market for stuff like that, like how to ghost hunt, how to do castings or hunt Bigfoot or what have you. I mean, things like that. I think that would really benefit the Paracon, because I think that may draw more people in. I think it'd be cool.
Yeah. It's actually in the works. We actually had planned this year to give a dowsing class on how to use dowsing rods, but we just did not have the time. We've got to get incorporated or something so that we can take in money properly. That's not just a donation.
That makes sense.
That would be a good thing to do if we decided to have multi-days, have one day just be 2 or 3 classes and then the next day be the Paracon.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah. And we were also discussing, and I need to take it up with Christy. We had Christy Campbell, who's our in-house medium now. Basically, she's just a part of our family now. She gives these like open readings to rooms. Like you can rent her for an evening, and she will read your room. And we were considering maybe next year having the rec center Friday evening beforehand and allowing her to do that. And in which case she would take in all the money for it. But it would be something else to add to the con. You could come to the night before and have her do the open readings in the gymnasium. So
I will say,
and it would already be set up. So
I will say, I was visiting with your mom out in the lobby. And we were just talking, just chatting about strange things. She told me the cat story again. And we got to talking about Christy, because Levi was in a reading and Levi was blown away by it. And she's like, you need to go over and talk to Christy, because we were talking about past lives, like a past life regression. And I told her, I said, I'd love to have a past life regression. You need to go talk to Christy. And I walked over and I said, I don't have like $10 cash on me. I mean, I don't want to shortchange Christy or anything like that. I mean, Christy's awesome. I mean, me and Enzo went out Friday night. Unfortunately, her and Doc had a flat just down the road from us. You talk about
more than a
Charlie
flat.
Foxtrot. Yeah, it was messed up, but we got him taken care of. A neighbor down the road helped out too, which thankful to Chad. And
and that's the beauty of like small town Kansas like that. It's just somebody comes, you need help? I'll be right back with the tools. It's like, God, I love it.
It was kind of an eventful evening after the fact too, and because Mark called me, then Pam come pulling in the driveway. Hey, Doc's got a flat just down the road, and she called Christy and they told us where we're at. I know we're right where they're at. So we drove down there and Enzo followed me. But that's what it's about. It's about the community. It's an amazing community. There's no judgment. I mean, that's to me says it all. There's no judgment.
And that's what I think our Paracon is about.
Yeah.
It's about the community.
Absolutely.
For sure.
That's what I was saying. I always say that at the very beginning when I get all the panelists together before we start and I give them my little speech. Everybody says, just a speech, But it really is like you almost have to like force some of the new panelists onto panels. They're like, I don't know anything about UFO. And I was like, that's the freaking point. Get on there. You have an opinion on it, don't you? I don't care if you don't think it's real at all. I don't care if you think it's all a farce and it's
That's
fake.
A valid opinion. If you want,
exactly.
If you don't have opinions that differ, then all you're going to be doing is talking to yourself.
Yeah, you don't want a panel of yes men. You want different ideas. That's the whole point of getting all of us together is to get those ideas flowing.
That's right.
Absolutely.
I think that's where the idea, and we say it all the time here, but your tagline for the Paracon was "It's all connected," and I think this proves it. I really do. I mean, because all these different, you have Brian with the cryptids. a lot of ghost hunters, Adrian, you guys, you name it. Then you have the UFO guys coming in, and we're all talking. I really think a lot of barriers have been torn down, and people are realizing that, hey, this may be connected.
Yeah.
And it's what I said
Different ways
last
to
week.
look at it.
I said last week, it's all connected, and
so
now
are we.
so are we.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Yep, that's a great line.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody, it doesn't matter that they have differing opinions when they leave. They all become friends. I said this last year. I had the best fun last year. The day afterwards, I was up on Facebook trying to, make sure everybody was good and everybody got home okay. And in the notifications, it lets you know when your friends are chatting with each other. So-and-so said this to so-and-so. And I sat there and watched friends get made. People were friending other panelists. And by the end of the day, they had all sorts of stuff set up with each other. They were like, oh yeah, I'm going to be up at such and such next week. Meet me up there and we'll get together. And the Amok podcast got made.
Yes.
It came out. So,
and
it's fantastic.
It is. Yeah, it really is.
And Mark and I, on What If Tomorrow, Mark and I, we preach building a community. If anything, this is the epitome of building a community, getting together, sharing ideas, whether you agree or disagree, and building that community and having an understanding of where you can go and what you can do. Yeah, because people are going to have different viewpoints that you may not agree with, but they may have a valid point, and you're like, well, maybe. You think about it.
And the beauty of it is we have separate viewpoints and nobody fought about it.
Right.
No, and that's wonderful.
Exactly.
We're sharing information now too. Like even Brian Terrell, the Red Dirt Cryptid Guide, said if he had never have met us, our section of map on his mapping was empty before he met us. And now it's one of the fullest spots. And he was like, I would never have known these stories if I had never come up here and done this and met these people.
I remember after that last year, I was like, he was like, well, how many stories do you think you have? And I said, I've got
there he is.
I've got at least 20
Hey,
stories.
Brian.
Yay!
What's up, guys? What's up, Brian?
Look at that.
We're just talking about you.
And I sent him over to him and he's like, holy crap, you've got at least 20 stories. I was like, I know, I told you. But yeah, it was a great day, wasn't it, Brian? And then it just kind of built from there, finding
and
more and more.
Yeah. It's awesome. And I've been having great fun. One of our new panelists or presenters this year was Jeff Provine. He's the paranormal author and folklorist from Oklahoma City. Kid makes me feel worthless. He's in his mid-20s. He's in his mid-20s and he's already written he's got book diarrhea. He runs the haunted tours.
I love the kid.
He runs haunted tours out of Guthrie and Norman and Oklahoma City.
Yeah, nice.
He has a comic book. He has a podcast. I don't know if this kid sleeps, but he makes me feel stupid. But he was so excited to come up here and join us. And he came up for the night before dinner too, and was just really excited about, just the community. And, he was like, you do this for free. And
I love talking to him.
Free.
Just great.
Yeah. I think he was a little overwhelmed
unfortunately
by all of us.
Yeah, he was.
We are a bit much sometimes.
Yeah.
But,
so
unfortunately, I didn't get to talk to him.
Oh,
unfortunately. But
he's a great kid.
Yeah.
In the same vein, I was kind of taken by his story about the Crescent Hotel, which I'd never heard. I knew nothing about.
Another great guy. I talked to him for a long time.
I was listening to his presentation about it, and so much so that I bought his book. And it's not just a book about just a plain textbook about about the history of the Crescent Hotel and how it came to be, but it's a graphic novel.
It's an amazing graphic novel.
Cool.
And
he is
a lot of the conversations
artist.
are based on actual letters that he found from the surviving members of all the parties involved, where he went and talked. He was like, oh, we got a whole pile of letters. You want to go through those? He's like, yes.
Yeah.
And so
He did
this is
incredible.
about as close to the true story as you're going to get. And it is a crazy story. I absolutely love it. I can't wait to get digging into this more.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we're bringing him back next year. He's already been all about it.
Sweet.
He has more in the works. He's going to be doing one on Mothman.
That's
He's
cool.
going to be.
I am buying that one. I might buy 2.
Yeah, he's doing ones on a whole bunch of like haunted stuff in the area and Mothman and stuff. And I was like, sweetie, you unfortunately have become a part of our family now. You have no choice. So just come on back next year.
I kind of thumbed through his book a little, and it's like, this is some really good art.
He's
It's
an
gorgeous.
incredible
He does
artist.
Yeah, it is.
amazingly good.
Yeah, he's an incredible artist.
Yeah, we've
Yeah.
adopted him, and he can't say it's like I adopted these girls. He has nothing. he can't do anything about it. He's family now.
Yep, you're in the family.
All
now.
these
Second
people are
family.
family.
Mhm.
I've adopted most of them. They're just amazing folks.
I did that.
And,
They think it's funny when I always try to send out a thank you at the end. I haven't got all my thank yous out yet, so if you haven't heard from me, like I don't think I've sent Brian his thank you yet. I'm getting there. I've been very busy. But I always put the tail end if you're a new panelist. I always put welcome to the Bordertown family, you know, as the tag at the very end, because now you're stuck with us. So if you dared stick your toe in the pool of our weirdness, you are
That's really
officially
good.
family.
There's no way out.
I will say, what, 3 years ago now, Mark, was the first one you and I did together as the podcast at the library. It was raining.
yes, yes, in
Oh,
the
that was a
rain.
bad one.
Yes.
It was horrible.
Jess had been on the show. I hadn't met Pam yet,
Yep.
but
I drowned
I consider, I think that was the first time you and I had met, Pam, was at that Paracon.
Yep.
What is it? 2022, I guess.
Yeah.
And or no, 2023. Or I messed up. 2021.
2021.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll get it there.
Yeah, because it was right after COVID.
Yep.
That's why it was outside.
But I will say, everybody in this group accepted me with open arms just because I was a podcaster and I was enthusiastic about the paranormal. And and I got to thinking about it Saturday. I'm like, look at what this has grown into, and I'm proud of all of you guys personally. I mean, I haven't had a lot to do with it. I mean, I didn't help really a lot with the planning. I mean, sure, I volunteered my space with everybody, and it was a joy and frankly an honor, because you all are amazing people, and it's such to me a blessing. It's such a blessing to be involved with you guys. That I find pure enjoyment in helping you guys and watching you grow. I mean, I'm being truthful here, and honest, but I would highly recommend it. You guys come out; it's well worth it.
Yeah, it is so much fun. I've really
made so many friends the last
few years.
Thank you.
That's really cool, Phil.
Yeah,
you're welcome.
Are you sure you're not sucking up? I'm not sharing Enzo's candy with you.
I'm sure.
Okay.
Well, we'll be there.
Still
anyway.
got leftover.
We'll be there anyway.
He's after that bottle.
Everyone's after my candy.
we're still eating the pulled pork.
Oh my goodness.
There was a lot of that. It was so good.
My sandwich.
It was good.
There was the meat on my sandwich was that thick.
There was about, I think I did 18 pounds roughly of pulled pork.
Wow.
And 10 pounds of chicken. I should have split it. I should have flip-flopped it. But yeah,
Oh
I
my
mean,
goodness.
I was happy to do it. we enjoy. My
we
wife and I
appreciate it.
enjoy having people out.
Really.
It was
Chris
delicious.
says y'all's getting her teary.
Yeah. Aw. And it was kind of perfect too to have that camp out the night before. Everybody got very comfortable with each other, and I don't know, you get a little camaraderie going, and then it makes the next day even better.
Mm-hmm.
So because you're looking forward to who you're going to come in and chat with on the panels, and so super fun.
I mean, I was kind of out of it because I was exhausted.
Yeah.
Soccer dad.
We were all tired by that time.
Yeah.
By the time
I got
she
up,
gets
I think
here, you're
Friday.
a little bit delirious because you're lack of
Yeah.
sleep going on, and but yeah, it was great.
You're punch drunk at that point.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's so tiring.
I think I
Yeah.
got up at like 6:30 Friday morning. I threw the pork on at like 7:30, and I was mowing and cleaning the house and doing all sorts of stuff to get ready. And I was exhausted by the time everybody got here. I'm like, oh my God, I can't really visit because I'm exhausted. And I mean, I still tried to, but there's some people that I did miss. By the gentleman from Stillwater, I forget his name. Him and his, I'm guessing, kids were here. And yeah, he sat next to me on the panel.
Chris
Good guy.
Yeah.
And I just didn't get a chance to visit with him. I'm like, man, I'm just exhausted.
Well, Chris is very quiet. You kind of have to like eke some conversation out of him. He's from OPIS Investigations out of Stillwater. He's usually with Clinton Hancock. Clinton couldn't come this year because he got sick right beforehand. But yeah, he came up to represent their group. He's always very quiet though. He did have a good time. Yeah. I like kicked at him every time I walked past to make sure he was still alive. He was good. Yeah.
Now I will. I don't know if you heard his story from Friday night. Did you hear his story?
I don't know. What was his story? Go ahead and give us a little snippet.
When he after he left my house, he had an encounter.
Oh, I don't know. Did he really?
Mark, you were there when he was talking about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you go, because again, I mean, I was surprised that the GPS brought everybody to my house, or those that use it to my house.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go out west, if you go out of my drive and turn out west, you go about 1.25 miles or so. Well, if you make a right there, it takes you out by the airport, which was the road everybody was trying to go down. And well, he kept going straight through that intersection. He was following the GPS back to, I believe, 75. And on this road, it's just an old farm road. They don't really upkeep it or anything.
Yeah, it's minimal maintenance.
Because he came up to me, it's very little maintenance. There's grass growing in the middle of the road and all that. Well, he came up to me at the Paracon saying, I came to your house last night, right? I said, yeah. He said, well, I got to ask you something. And he told me, he went straight. There's a little narrow bridge you go over. It's rough road. I mean, we go down on the side by side, but that's about it. I haven't hardly see any vehicles going down that road. So they took off down the road. Well, it comes to a T. And if you turn left, it brings you back down kind of to the east side of Jefferson. If you go back right, it brings you to another T out just south of the airport. And he said on that road, he passed a guy in a Jeep. He said it was looked like a 1984 Jeep. And he was driving by real slow because it's a pretty narrow road. And he said he thought he heard the guy cussing at him. So he stopped to see what's going on. And he said this guy carried on the conversation, talking about, who lived where and this and that. And then he said, okay, well, have a good evening. And he pulled back. He said he got about, what did he say, Mark? Like 30 feet, something like that.
30 feet.
And it was gone.
And looked back, and that Jeep was gone. And he's asking,
there's nowhere to go.
Like that out by there? There's nowhere to go out there.
Yeah.
And he said, have you had any experiences out there? I was like, no, nothing I know of. Not like that anyway.
I do know that there are a lot of disappearing vehicle occurrences along 75. So maybe that's a part of that system.
Yeah, I told him about that. The car that comes out and tries to pass people, and when they get past, they disappear.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's the first I'd heard of it.
Wow.
We're going to have to investigate that at some point this year.
Well, you also always have to remember there's always odd occurrences when you get that many paranormal enthusiasts together. We seem to create some kind of a energy source for weird crap like that. So
a little vortex of our own insanity there. Yeah,
exactly.
Strange attractors and attractors of strange attractors.
That's right.
To talk about quantum physics.
I did not hear about that story. That's really interesting.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that either. Wow.
I'd actually forgotten about it. Yeah, he was a little freaked out.
But yeah, he was. He was like, I don't know what I saw, but it was weird.
Do you know who that is? And I was like, no clue. Better ask
For-
Phil.
I don't have a clue.
He was freaked out, and he's a
Yeah.
paranormal investigator. I would have been
Yeah,
shouting
he
that to the
was kinda
rooftops.
weirded out.
Hey, but you
Yeah.
know, he it's not all bad because we share the same taste in hats.
Oh,
Oh,
well, that makes
Yes.
okay.
He's my hat bestie.
Oh my goodness. Oh,
Hey,
so
us weirdos got to
Pam
stick
go?
together.
I don't know where Pam went. She disappeared on us. Maybe she left
Oh.
with that Jeep.
oh,
Maybe she's visiting
Maybe.
the disappearing house.
Perhaps.
Oh, boy.
I
I'm glad
love
she
that.
told that
Yeah.
story.
I love her-
Actually,
I love that story.
that's a great story.
It's always a good icebreaker
You're-
story. We were talking about your disappearing house story, Pam.
Oh yeah, of
Yeah, you
course.
That's
disappeared.
why I
We
did
thought
that.
maybe you were visiting
Yeah.
the disappearing house.
I
I
don't.
slipped into the other dimension. I'm
Yeah.
back.
I don't like cliques. I hate it when I'm at a party and everybody starts to group up like that. So that's why I threw Pam under the bus
Yeah.
with her story. Because if there's any story in the world that's going to bring everybody to a quiet, it's going to
It's
be
like,
that one.
what?
Because everybody
just
wants to
feel
hear
big,
what's
like,
happening.
What?
Yeah.
It's
So
Still, it's so freaky. Yeah,
Then there's all the
Yeah.
time slip stories.
yeah.
yes.
Yep.
So it's always a good way to break the ice and get the little cliques to break up and get everybody talking and meeting each other. Adrian
It was a
was
good night.
Adrian is the thorn in my side sometimes.
He's a good
I did
guy.
enjoy his presentation.
He is
I
a
thought it
good
was
guy, and yes, he did put on a good presentation. Sometimes I just want to shake him a little bit.
I mean,
Anyway.
a lot of people have that reaction to me.
Yeah.
You know what's fun though, and I don't know. I would like to know if it's just the fact that I really think it does have something to do with it though. The fact that we've gotten so good at time stamping things, and Jess really got us started on that too. I think there's probably more time slips than people realize because they don't.
If they did a time hack on everything they did, yeah.
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 I really think you would see it more often.
That's my number one thing. Like sometimes I do these speaking engagements with Dark Ozarks, and we do our Bordertown Presents and stuff like that. And people ask us all the time, like, what do I need to do to start ghost hunting? What do I need to start doing to investigate? What do I need? And they think that you're going to give them this huge list of like specialty equipment and all this other stuff. And I'm like, all you need is a notebook and a pen and your phone.
Mm-hmm.
Those three things are going to garner you a whole lot of information. I was like, with your phone, check the times, write everything down, take pictures, take recordings, because you can.
Yeah, they've got
record
voice
sound.
recorders built right into them.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
And I tell them, I was like, that notebook is your friend. You write down everything, even if you think it's the silliest thing. I was like, write when somebody goes to the bathroom and who it is, and then write when they come out.
Mm-hmm.
Right when so-and-so's in the kitchen, or if you walk into a cemetery, say which row that you're on and what the time is, because that right there has garnered us almost more information than any recordings that we've gotten, or especially camera footage. Our team sucks with camera footage.
We do.
We can't keep a camera running for nothing, and when we can, we get absolutely nothing.
Jack squad.
I can't. Mark and Pam, do you recall any evidence we've ever caught on camera?
No,
On video camera.
That was actual real evidence.
I got this. Can't really see it. I got a body cam, so now maybe I can at least collect the information from the rod sessions.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the screen mask. Remember that? That ended up being debunked.
Yeah.
And I know Jason's here and Jason hates orbs. Suck it up. That one time in the cemetery when Carl was walking beside you, and
but that was a photo
behind you. That was a photo. You're right. It wasn't a video.
Yeah.
But
It wasn't a video. So video
I don't think
has
we've
not
ever had
garnered us
anything on video.
No.
Audio, yes. Video, no.
Yes. But audio you can do with your phone. I mean, it's not as great as a recorder, but if you're just starting out, you really just start with the basics. Pam's a fan of compasses, and I'm a fan of marbles.
Oh, marbles.
I lost
Everybody
mine.
should have a marble in their bag.
You're missing some.
Because I have debunked more funhouse, optical illusions, and tripping situations with a simple marble. We had one lady in particular. She said that she was always dizzy down her hallway. She was just like, I'm so dizzy in this hallway, and I feel like maybe I'm being watched. And by the end of the hallway, my stomach doesn't feel great. Like if I've eaten, I feel like I'm going to vomit. And I pulled a marble out of the bag and we stuck it at the end of the hallway, and we watched it run straight to the edge of the hallway and then run straight down. She was walking down a fun house every time she went down the hallway, but it looks perfectly straight. So your mind is sitting there fighting with what you're seeing.
Oh, yeah.
And making yourself nauseous and feeling weird. And once we told her that, she never had that symptom again because she walked down the hallway with the knowledge.
Yeah, to understand.
It was slanted.
Yeah, and it's like that door that
that you unhaunted.
That I unhaunted by shimming it up so that it wouldn't hang and fall over.
Yeah.
Open. It was
But
bad.
really, yeah. Write everything down. Everything we have garnered, the time slips, and when we get stuff on meters, I write down everything the meters, like if we have an Ovilus running, I write down everything it says. And we have literally figured out situations 3 years after the fact because something else will happen someplace else. And we go, wait a minute. In that one investigation, the Ovilus said this and this and this in this situation. And we go back and check it and realize it had everything to do with the one that we're working on now.
Yep.
So a notebook, a pen, and your phone.
Write it down, even if it makes 0 sense to you at the time. If it means absolute nothing, you may find out 10 years down the road. And we have
if
done
I start hanging out with all of you guys more often, I'm going to get like a police body cam on like the front and the back, just all the time.
It's not a bad idea. I've been looking at them. I'm going to get a better one. This one has been fun to experiment with, but I think I'm going to go at some point. I don't think it's a bad idea.
We've gotten off of Paracon again.
We did.
Yeah. This is about Paracon?
Whoops.
I think we're all getting a little snap happy.
Well, we're kind of kicking around ideas for next year's too.
That's true.
We are. So we have we have so many ideas for the Paracon. Now implementing them is a completely different situation. It is just, I mean, there's 5 of us in all. Really, it's 3 of us that really run it. And that's not saying anything bad about the other 2 members, but they have jobs and other things in their lives that kind of we have a little bit more time to devote to it. So we do happily for them.
Those 2 right there, those are our MVPs.
They are. They're awesome.
Yep.
Oh, I thought you meant the other 2.
No, I'm talking about
you two.
You 2 ladies. You're the heart and soul.
I don't know if we're MVPs or just dumb, but we do it anyway.
Stubborn anyway.
Stubborn. You have to be a little stubborn to do it.
That'll get you over a lot of hills.
The term is sucker, but
it's like
there you go.
I was talking about the lady from Wamego trying to put that Paracon on in just 3 or 4 months. Oof. And I think I need to do it. So right now, sitting in my dining room is a Paracon pile. That's what I call it, the Paracon pile. It's literally 3 tubs deep or 3 tubs high and a mound that flows out.
A lot of empty Reese's Raptors around it.
It's just a pile of crap. And sitting on it is my clipboard, the famous clipboard that everybody sees me running around with. That clipboard at the beginning of the morning is about maybe 10 papers deep. And at the end of it, it's about 1,000 papers deep with like shit sticking out of it. And there's like this sticking out over here. It's a lot more to put on than you realize. Like when Pam and I first stepped into this, when we made the decision to go big, you have in your head, how hard is it going to be? It's going to be a little bit of work, but we can do
Famous
this.
Last words.
Yes.
Boy, that's dumb.
But
it'll be all right.
Yeah, I will say, with last year under our belt, and once we realized the presentations were going to run well, because that's where I was nervous at, when you introduce equipment into the situation that has to run perfectly and in tandem to get something to run. But once the presentations were going smoothly and I realized that was fine, the whole rest of the day ran really well. Everybody understood the schedule and everybody understood, where they needed to be. Mm-hmm. And with me emceeing and just making sure panelists got to the panels and presenters got to the presentation tables, it actually ran quite smoothly.
I had several people
I agree.
tell me that they could not believe how in the last 2 years how smoothly everything ran.
Do you remember, Jess, last year? So the first year that we went big.
Oh, Pam.
And so you guys and you, Phil, you'll be able to appreciate this now. The room that's our green room, that's last year is where we were going to hold the Paracon.
Oh,
in just the green room.
Yeah.
And so Jess put out a call out for panelists, and she comes wild-eyed, hair sticking out to the library going, "Oh my God, what are we going to do?" And I was like, let's just rent the whole stinking building. We're going to have to. And that's how it started. We had such a response.
They're expecting 2 or 3 people and got like 30.
Yeah. So like
she was just like, "Oh my God, what are we going to do?"
The rainy day con that we had that Phil mentioned earlier, we had to have it outside because it was right after COVID. And it rained on us, and we were all soaked because all of us took turns like holding the tent shut so that it wouldn't rain on the equipment.
Yep.
It was bad. We had the Dark Ozarks people there. We had Christy and Doc and Jason Alexander came and us, and we put on our little con. I think it was like 3 hours long. We did 3 panels, 3 hours long. Gave away a gift bag and a couple t-shirts. And that was about it. And then that next year, I think it was in April, we were discussing what we were going to do for the next year. And we were talking about, wouldn't it be wonderful if we could have just a few more speakers in, maybe from further away, to kind of expand it a little bit and bring in, some more people. So we were like, well, let's put a call out. So I just got up on Facebook. That was the only venue I went through, and put out a thing saying, we have this little mini Paracon in Little Caney, Kansas, and we would love to invite maybe some paranormal teams or an author or a historian, anybody who might be interested in coming in and just talking for the day. It's not paid, but this is what we do, and this is kind of our goal. And I put that out, and by the end of the day, we had like 15 interested parties. And I was like, okay. What are we gonna do with this? And then the next day there was like 2 or 3 more saying they were interested, and that's when I went to Pam. I was like, do we turn all these people away, or do we go through with this? And so actually, if you want to say, Pam is the one to blame, because she was the one that said, well, let's just rent out the whole building and let's do this. So it's Pam's fault.
We're gonna do it. Let's do it.
Yep. This is
is this in the rain?
Yep.
This is in the rain.
Yeah. It was very cozy, very
wet.
Very wet.
I will, I'm not ashamed to say
cozy
it.
And wet. I think that might go to a different audience if you
I had a rash. I had a rash down my arm after that for a week, from my wrist all the way down my side to my waist, because I would stand in, it was 4 tents that were roped together, and I would stand over the middle and keep them clamped with my hand because the water was wanting to pool right there, and we had equipment and electrical cords run right there. And so it just ran down my arm.
I was sitting on the other side of Jessica. There's Mark. No, that's Mike, isn't it? I was sitting on the other side of Jess, and every once in a while it would pool, and it would immediately pour right down the back of my head and down the back of my neck.
Oh, we were all soaked by the
It
end
was
of the day.
so bad.
Yeah,
We were all soaked.
So
there's
bad.
me and Mark and what was it?
And at the
Lisa,
time, I
right?
think that was
Yeah,
our
that's
biggest
Lisa
Paracon
Martin.
yet.
Yes, it
Yep.
was. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
that one actually would have been pretty big. We had a lot of people drive by, but they didn't stop because they saw, there wasn't a lot of area for seating because we were all stuck under the tents.
Yeah.
We did have a lot watching live though. So
Yeah,
oh no, that's me. That's my rings.
Oh, was it?
Oh, we were all trying to fix
my rings
it.
Right there. That's
Look at that.
That's Mike. But yeah, I recognize my rings.
This is,
Yeah.
I think this is the whole presentation. It's like 2 hours and 45 minutes almost.
Yeah.
Yeah. We kind of like, it was all one long one, but we broke it up. Like, I think we had Dark Ozark start and they gave a whole like presentation on what it was they do. And then we went into like local lore and legend and then finished up with like stories. And we let you and Mark do a section too, because you guys were recording stories that day. You can see your guys' equipment there. It was one of the things we were trying to keep dry desperately.
Jason, I think he's pouring water out of that.
He's pouring water out of the chair. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh no!
It was so wet.
It
From
was
humble beginnings.
Alicia,
yes,
her husband and family were there.
Yes, they won the very first ghost hunting bag that we ever did. That was where the bags started at. We started with a simple ghost hunting bag. I think it had like a book, a ghost hunting meter, and a pair of rods, and like a journal.
She said that was her first Paracon.
Yep,
Very cool.
Yeah. So humble beginnings. Actually, if you want to go back to the very beginning, it was in the Caney Library before it moved.
Yes.
It was in a teeny tiny building. It was a very old little grocery store. Here in Caney, and it became the library.
A dozen people with the three of us talking in front of it.
Yep. It was the it's now the Edward Jones building when you turn downtown Caney.
Yeah,
that
it was
little
tiny
building.
It was a library so little that they kept their out of season books in a storage shed beside it.
That Yes.
Yeah.
We
would sit around a little table and people would come in, I think, but like 6 or 7 at a time, and they would talk with us and then leave, and another little set would come in, and that's how it started. And then it just kind of, but it's Pam's fault that it went so huge because she was all like, let's just invite them all and have the whole rec center.
Let's just do it. If we're gonna do it, let's do it.
Yep, she doomed us all.
You're
Well,
welcome.
I'm glad you did, because I didn't like sitting in the rain.
Yeah.
Well, and that's
I'll
what
say,
convinced us to rent the Lion's Den.
Yeah, it is. And honestly, the Lion's Den was a pretty big step up from where we were the year before.
We were so excited about it too. We were like, the Lion's Den is so big. We could set up tables over here and chairs over here. And it'll be great. And now it's just the green room because it's
that lasted
too small for
2 weeks before we.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it did. And then we were immediately,
and we were all trying to scramble to figure out how we were going to pay the rent on the building. And I will say this year, I'm going to let everybody know, I'm so thankful for everybody who gave any kind of a donation or bought concessions or bought stickers or bought raffle items. We made enough out of the donation buckets and all of that other stuff to cover the cost of the building twice.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
I'm just saying, Levi, I think he said he dropped almost $100 because he was on that ghost hunter kit.
There was a lot of people dropping. So the great thing is like this morning I walked right in after the rec center opened and I handed over the cash for it directly and moved the $50 deposit that we had on it for this year straight over to the next year. And we have enough money left over to kind of pay me back a little bit because I buy everything for the raffle except for the things that are donated from like the authors and the artists and stuff like that. So it's going to help me cover that a little bit. And we'll have enough in the kitty to cover next year's radio play that we had this year. Oh, you guys should play the radio.
Oh, dude.
Do I have a link to that?
You should have it in
We had a really awesome radio
ad
this year.
Let me see. I don't know if I emailed it to you. It's in text. Can you pull it out of text? If not, I can email it to you.
No, is it in one of our Facebook Messenger things?
I don't think so. Here, let me save it and I will email it to you real quick. How's that?
I was gonna say, I know it's in our messages. Anywho, yeah, while they're looking for that, we made enough to pay for the venue twice if we wanted to. So it's going to help us cover a whole bunch of the expenses. Yeah. And I'm going to say this. We said this last year when we did our After Paracon show. Somebody yet again dropped $100 bill in the donation bucket. And I don't know who that is, but it is a huge help. Thank you for your kindness. That $100 actually paid for all of our radio play this year. That's what we put aside.
Yes, it did.
Yeah. Something that we couldn't even have last year. We ran out of cash about 2 weeks out. We all were tapped dry last year. And there was a few things that fell to the wayside, like the radio ads that we so desperately wanted to have. There was no money left. So we were like, well, it is what it is. So
I think we're all a couple $100 in. I mean, and that's fine. I know you're probably at 1,000, 1,500.
A little bit more than that.
A little bit more, but I've done is it is worth it.
Oh, it's worth it. It's worth every penny.
I create a little bit of art to the side that I sell, and the proceeds from those sales of my art solely go to Paracon. So
I'll have to admit, I was shocked at the amount of raffle tickets for all the various items they have. That really shocked me. That many people was like, I want that spirit bag or whatever it was. It was just it was like, wow, I can't believe how full this little container is.
I am going to attempt to play that radio ad.
Did you find it?
Chris sent it to me in Messenger.
Oh, perfect.
So,
okay.
Let me share that and play. Apparently Messenger does not like me, so I guess I can't play it.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, let me.
Okay. Hold on here. Maybe I can pull it up. Let me see here. So while we're hunting for that, I think that the ghost hunting bag and the UFO hunting bag and the Bigfoot hunting bag, they're so popular because they're curated by actual investigators. So, of course, the ghost bag is curated by us. We put in some basic essentials and some nifty little things that you might, like the common person may see like on TV on a ghost hunting show, but they don't know quite what it is or what to order. So like in the ghost hunting bag, you got a how-to book and a journal to log your findings in. And you get a K2 meter, which is just a basic overall meter you can use while ghost hunting. A pair of dowsing rods. So for the people who are a little bit more woo, you can give that a shot. A hat, and a flashlight, which everybody needs when you're ghost hunting. And
Absolutely.
Some other little incidentals. And it's something that anybody could really buy for themselves quite easily, but to have it curated and put together for you in a package is something completely different.
I was actually going to add something myself to the UFO bag, but they no longer, because I have like a
try that, Mark. I just emailed it to you.
Giant version of a planosphere, which is
there you go.
Cool.
You can set it to your local time and by your date, and you can see what all constellations are, everything. Granted, there are apps for that, but this would be like your manual.
Yeah, but that's still really
analog
neat.
version.
That is cool.
That is really neat.
The people that do this guide to the stars, they don't sell the smaller versions anymore. I was like, are you kidding me? Or else I would have contributed one of those because
you still
that's something
can.
I feel UFO.
There will
for
be
next year. I'm looking. Believe me, I'm looking.
Okay. Yeah. If anybody on here, in like panelists and speakers and stuff that are listening right now, if you would like to contribute something to the bags or even your own package, holy cow, anything you want to add to it, we will accept. Like I was saying, so like the Bigfoot hunting bag, I went to Brian Terrell and was like, what do you think would be great in this? The only thing that I didn't add that they said would be great were like baggies, like sandwich baggies for evidence.
Yeah.
I just never got the time to pick those up.
Poo.
Yeah, that's a little carried away.
It's for poo.
All right, I am going to try to play this.
Okay.
Paracon. Are you interested in the paranormal? Join us at Bordertown Paracon 2023, Saturday, September 30th from 10 until 7:30 in Caney at the Rec Center on Highway 75 just south of Pizza Hut. Listen to experts from the 4-state area discuss legends, ghosts, UFOs, Bigfoot, and other cryptids. Door prizes and raffles, medium, tarot, and oracle readings, and vendors. It's free for ages 12 and up. For more information, visit SEK Bordertown Paranormal on Facebook or go to bordertownparanormal.com.
It was a great
cool.
Yes.
It had very good production value.
Yes. Mike's one of our Bordertown guys, Mike Hoy, his wife Penny works at KGGF in Coffeyville. And
Nice.
they cut us a really nice deal on some ads. And so, I sent them the script thinking, it's going to be one of the, run-of-the-mill dunk scripts. They send that back. I'm like, holy crap, that's awesome. So yeah, we were really thrilled with it.
Yeah, we got a lot of boosters and help this year. Last year we had a few of the little businesses in town, a few little restaurants kind of help a little bit and try to do some deals or whatever. But this year it just blew up. Like our list of sponsors this year is huge. Yes. And so many of them like gave 10% off deals if you mentioned Bordertown Paracon, and some of them like renamed entire menus or menu items.
Made menu items.
What was the Annabelle or whatever it was?
Yeah, the Annabelle.
What is that?
I can't remember the name of the actual dish, but it's basically just like a giant bowl of like every kind of meat they had in sauce and stuff. That was what the Annabelle was. I don't know what the original dish
noticed was. Just driving around, I noticed several local retailer or businesses that had their signs, which is like, welcome Paranormal Paracon, all that stuff. It's like, man, that's great.
Yeah, it is. The only hindrance we had last year, we got lucky. There's a group here in Caney that does a full concert series during the summer months. They put on full-size concerts downtown, like with actual like big name country western singers, I guess. I don't know them too well because I'm not a country fan, but they do this. And last year they had the biggest concert the night before the Paracon. And it just so happened that one of the churches was running a big, huge 5K run that's really popular in the area. So all of this was happening in one weekend. Yeah. And there were food trucks in the area because of the big concert and everything. And so we just all kind of shared it. So it got I think that's probably how we did this. We got lucky and held our first big Paracon that same weekend. And it all worked for us. Like concert goers ended up staying and going to the con the next day. And some of the con goers came in the night early to see the concerts. They were like,
how cool is this? You guys have like concerts and stuff here. We were like, you do.
So,
and this year we beat those numbers and there wasn't that much going on in town. There was a lot going on, but not nearly the big things.
Yeah. And that's something that's one of my goals for the future. We're going to probably be getting ready to have our first meeting since the Paracon. And we always use that meeting to discuss the Paracon and anything that went wrong or anything that we can fix or anything that we can make better. And I think that's going to be one of my goals for the coming year is to try to we already got the community really involved, but we really need to find a way to get the community to do something else big the same weekend so we can share it.
Yeah.
And kind of garner some more attention for Caney. So I don't know if we can
I'd
pull
love
that
to
off,
see it become kind of a festival.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Get everybody.
That would be really
involved.
cool. Yeah.
So
What, Pam?
I said that's a great idea.
Yeah. we'll see. I don't know if it'll actually work or not. Anywho's, yeah. Oh, we were talking about door prizes and stuff. Yeah, anybody who would like to donate to that, they're popular because they're curated prizes, except for the ones that were gifted to us, and those were freaking fantastic. So somebody made off with one of Sean Fitzgibbon's graphic novels, and those aren't cheap.
Crazy. No, they're not cheap.
How much did you spend on it?
They're $40.
This
$40, and it's well worth it.
$40 at the con, but if you go to Amazon, it's almost $70.
Oh my God. Wow.
Yeah. Get it straight from Sean. So
we'll say, I think the people that won the Crescent Motel and the other two books by the other gentleman, I think they were the one. Those were the ones that witnessed the Dogman down in Tyro. I think they're the ones.
That's right. Yeah, you're right.
Who won it? I couldn't remember who won it.
Yeah. So, cool. If you're interested in one of the What Follows Is True, the Crescent Hotel books from Sean Fitzgibbon, fantastic. If you want it for that lower price, you can order it directly from his page. It's www.seanfitzgibbonsart.com. That simple. Fitzgibbon is spelled just like you think it would be spelled. Fitzgibbon. Fitzgibbon.
He is the nicest guy too.
He is wonderful, and he is excited about coming back. And he was kicking himself because he didn't bring all of his art prints. He had them ready to go and just walked away from them.
Oh no!
He had all the big, huge art prints of all those panels and stuff. I mean, not all of them, I'm sure, because that would be too many, but he had a lot of them. And then Jeff Provine, he was supposed to give us one signed book, and then he does a comic book called Okie Comics, and he was going to give us one of those, and he forgot it. So he just turned around and grabbed another one of his big books and signed it and stuck it up there. And he was like, "I'm so sorry, I don't have the comic. Is this book okay?" And I was like "Oh, I guess it'll be okay." And I was like, "Yes, it's okay." Crazy guy.
Bears poo in the woods. Yes, it's okay.
Yeah. And then a really popular one, author and good Lord, paranormal philanthropist, Troy Taylor from Alton, Illinois. Of course, we could probably never have him at the con. First of all, the man, I don't think takes a minute to even breathe. He's so freaking busy. He has his own empire going on over there. But I've had the pleasure to meet him on a few occasions, and he is just the sweetest, most down-to-earth guy. And I messaged him in the hopes that he might get back with me. It took a little bit because he was so busy. But I asked him, I was like, "We put on this Paracon, and I'm not asking you to come because I know you're so busy, but we really love your work, and we really want to involve you," because he writes about Middle America, haunted Middle America. This is his stomping grounds. And I was like, "We want to push your stuff in our area too. Would you be willing to, at least send us some brochures or something that we can display to show people that you are also kind of a part of this area?" And he sent me a freaking signed book and the lantern and a whole sticker pack.
Oh, that's great.
And was like, "Why don't you just give these away?" And I was like, "Yes, sir, I will do so." So, whether he's here or not, he's a part of the Bordertown family too. So
he's stuck with us.
Yeah. So some lucky person won a Troy Taylor gift pack full of all sorts of fun stuff. And also he does a quarterly magazine called Morbid Curious, and it's full of original stories from our paranormal stories from the entire US. People write in, and he handpicks these stories and includes them in this quarterly magazine. And he gave us a free copy to give away too. So that was in that pack. Yep. So tons of great stuff. Christy Campbell, we were talking about earlier, our in-house medium. She gave away 2 free readings. She always does that. And I will let you guys know, you guys, we were discussing her earlier and her doing the quantum readings and the past life readings and stuff like that. We had to force her to make people pay this year.
Yeah.
Yes.
She was, we were like,
She's awesome.
she was like, we would love for you to have your own vendor booth. We would love for you to come in and do readings. And she was like, that's great. And we were like, what is your prices so that we can post them? And she was like, oh, I'll just do it for free.
We're like,
No.
How you make your living? No.
We were like, girlfriend, you drive in clear from Tulsa and put up with us all day long. You are going to make some money. And then she was like, well, what do you think I should charge? And I was like, you know what you should charge. You know what you're worth there. Now give us some prices. We had to fight them out of her. And even then, I'm going to tell you this, for anybody who has not been to Christy or maybe was around Christy but didn't get a reading from her, Phil has an awesome story because he won one of the free readings the year before. But I'm just going to tell you this. So Christy also does something called quantum healing readings. And she basically sets you down and she doesn't even touch you. There's no touching involved with this. And she'll sit there and give you a rundown on what's going wrong with your body, where the pains might be coming from, and the fault in them. And she will relieve it for you. She can't fix it completely, but she can relieve the symptoms and maybe help you on your way to mending. Yep. I have never asked her to do this for me. And these guys know, not everybody online knows. 2 weeks ago, I have a bad hip. I have a theater accident from high school that messes with me.
An old high school theater accident.
Yes. I was very sporty in the theater. Long story short, my hips will tend to go out occasionally, and they went out like something bad 2 weeks ago. So bad that I was couch ridden for about 3 days. I couldn't really function. And then I got up and all the stress and doing everything. And my lower back and my shoulder and my hips were on fire on Saturday, just, but the adrenaline's going. So it's at the back of your mind. You're not paying attention to it. And I came through at the area where she was stationed at one point, and she was like, you come back in here the minute you get a second. And I was like, I thought she needed something. And I was like, oh God, one of my panelists needs something's amok. And I hurried up and did what I was doing. And I came back in. I was like, what do you need? What's wrong? What do you need? Do you need a drink? What do you need? And she goes, I need for you to sit down. So I thought, oh, she's sensing that I'm stressed. And I had a minute. So I sat down and I went to go talk to her. And she was like, your lower back is so out and it's shooting pains up into your shoulder and it's going down your legs. And she was like, you're going to have a quantum healing reading right now. And I was like, I don't have any cash on me, Christy, and I really need to go. And she was just like, shut up. She told me to shut up. And she started working and she told me everything. She even told me, she was just like, you've been eating horribly. You need more fiber in your diet. And I was like, yeah, I've been eating really bad. Yeah. She picked everything out and she sat there and like, without even telling me, she goes,
senses kicking in, huh?
Yeah. She goes, and just so you know, this day is going to run really well. You need to quit thinking that it's going to go wrong and every little thing is going to go badly. She goes, I already see it. It's going to run really well and everybody is going to do a really great job. So you need to take that stress off your back. And then she did all of her little things that she does. And she said, give it 3 minutes. And I was like, okay. And I ran off to go get, I think it was Adrian's presentation started. And while I was standing there giving my little introduction to Adrian, my back literally went and just chilled out.
Sweet.
Like I almost like slumped in front of everybody when I felt it like release. And I was like, holy crap. And then and Pam had told me about this. She did a quantum healing for Pam a number of months ago. And Pam had told me that the bulk of it really took care of itself overnight. And she woke up just feeling fabulous. And that's what happened. I went to bed that night, still kind of in pain, but it wasn't nearly as bad. And when I woke up in the morning, I realized for the first time in months, I had slept all the way through the night, because usually I wake up every 10 minutes and have to reposition because of the pain and the stress on my back. I have to kind of reposition myself. It was the first time I'd slept all the way through the night, and my back felt great when I woke up. Mm-hmm. Now, my feet and my legs, on the other hand, were very sore. And I told Christy I spoke to her. Yeah, I spoke to her, and I said, you should do some preemptive quantum healings. You should have known that my feet were going to hurt the next day, and went ahead and just taking care of that too. So, but yeah, yes, Phil, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, my son got a reading from her, and he was blown away, because I don't know. I mean, if you're listening to this and not sure who we're talking about, Christy is blind.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And my son sat down for a reading, and, quantum healing type stuff and all that. And my son, right before his 18th birthday, had an accident, and he lost vision in his left eye. And so there's no way she can look at body language. There's no way that she can, read anything that you're putting out. She can't see it. So she's not taking visual cues. But she told my son, she's like, I'm getting a darkness on your left side.
Wow.
Because he was raving about it on the way home. And he's like, well, yeah. He's like, well, yeah. He said, I had an accident. I lost my vision in that eye.
Yeah.
And she's like, be careful with it, because there's a possibility that your sight will be restored to you. And he was pumped from that. And she's like, well, what's going on with your right foot? He's like, well, I broke it, a few years ago, like my junior year in high school. She's like, it still bothers you, doesn't it? She's like, yeah, And she's like, what about it now? Your ankle and stuff. He said, well, I'm just sprained my ankle and all that. And he was blown away. And I was too, when I first got my reading. Mm-hmm. And then she did a past life on me this last week, and your mom actually paid for it. I was like, I don't have the money. I don't have enough cash on me.
Awesome.
And she's like, I'll pay for it. I was like, you don't have to do that. She's like, no, I'm going to.
She was having so much fun listening to them, because my daughter Raven decided to do a past life reading. Yeah. She had an opportunity to do with one Christy months ago, and then lost that opportunity. So she was going to make sure she got it. And my daughter was blown away. So my daughter's middle name is Elise. Her name is Raven Elise Holman. And she did a past life for her, and went through like 5 or 6 different lives. And in each life, part of her name had Elise in it. Like at one point, she was Anna That's Elise. Cool. And Christy had no idea that was her middle name. Raven doesn't go around telling everybody what her middle name is. And Raven was just like, she was like, Mom, she kept saying, Elise was a big part of my life, that it was a part of my name throughout all these different lives. And she was like, I never told her what my name was. And I actually told Christy later on that Raven's middle name was Elise. And she goes, there you go.
She's very mad.
She is. Yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah, she brought up to me, and when I sat down, she's like, wow. She's like, you've spent multiple lifetimes fighting. She's like, that's strange, because a lot of people don't do that. She said, but this lifetime, you chose this lifetime to be peaceful. She's like, you were a gladiator. And she gave me a name, and I don't have it up here with me, because I was writing this down. Mm-hmm. And then she went into another time. I was in Italy as well, and I was like 13, and this group cast me out or whatever, and I froze to death.
Wow.
And then there was another one. She's like, you've only been a woman twice throughout all your lives. She said, you've had many past lives. She's like, one time you were a nun. And I think she said she weren't really a nun, but it was like in Turkey, you were a type of like a nun. And, you died of old age. And then the other time your parents, I was in Austria, I believe. And she said that my parents had died, and I was like the oldest sibling. So it was upon me to provide for the family, doing the hunting and gathering and all that. And that I made my younger sister cook, because, I was a hunter gatherer, but some land baron or whatever was trying to take my land. So I decided to get married. So I did, to protect my property, and wound up having like 16 kids, like two.
Oh, good Lord.
There's like,
Whoa.
2 sets of twins and a set of triplets. And you're like, that was the last time you were a woman. You chose not to do that again. You know?
I don't blame you.
Yeah, I would not do that either. Horn
Yeah,
dog.
And then there was
16 babies. Whoo.
then she gave me then she gave me another name. I was an artist in England who was so self-critical that I never allowed my artwork to be produced, you know, to sell or be critiqued or anything like that. And Levi was sitting next to me, and he looked up the name, and he found the name in the old artist. I can't remember the name off my head. He's got it.
Wow.
But he found evidence of that individual because it was like the late 1800s. And then the next life, I was a farmer in Ireland, and this is like late 1800s into the early 1900s. It was like I lived like 45 years, I think, from what she said. And I was actually married to my wife now. So I was married to her in a past life. So it's kind of cool. You mentioned, you know, Raven's middle name, how it was attached to her. Mm-hmm. And then she's like, farther back, she's like, one of your first lives, you were a Chinese monk, and you lived a long life, like 90 some odd years. I don't remember exactly. And you spent 60 years you spent 60 years in silence. You didn't talk to anybody for 60 years, but you wanted to learn, see how things worked and all that, which I thought was cool because I'm attracted to Asian culture and all that. And she's like, well, that would explain it. She's like, I was like, man, that was so cool to hear that.
Wow.
She's amazing. I've had a past life reading from her too. And it was just so interesting. We need to have her come on and do Mark and Enzo. Maybe we should do that. Maybe we should have her on as a guest. Have her on as a guest and have her do a couple readings for those of us who've not had one.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
That'd be
I
cool.
haven't
My
had
wife
one.
said
It seemed like the entire day I was walking through that area where they were doing the readings and all that stuff, and she always had someone at the table with her. She was always busy.
She's just, I think it's just because she's really likable. She's just one of those people that draw you in and just make you completely comfortable. And she's not fake about anything she does. And she'll tell you when she's giving you a reading if she's not sure about what she's picking up. She's like, this may not be true, but this is what I'm getting. Don't take it for, verbatim. And she comes across completely real because I've had readings from other mediums before, and they give you that play where they like use generalities to really kind of force you into a corner where you almost have to say, oh yeah, that happened to me. Or, you have a relative who has an E in their name somewhere. List me all your, she doesn't do that stuff, and she doesn't claim to, to do anything like that.
Just spits it right on out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and she knows nonsense, and she's just like, this is what I get, and do with it what you will. So, and half the time she won't even make you pay for it. She just does it. She does it on Facebook. She has a Facebook page, and she'll just get on there when she's bored, and she'll be like, is there anybody live on here with me? I'll give you a free reading. And she'll just go until she's tired.
Yep. She does that a lot.
I know she told my wife out here Friday, because she was sitting over by my wife, her and Doc were, and my wife was visiting with her. I mean, she's a sweetheart. I love her to death. She's just a wonderful person. And, but she told my wife, she said, it is really, your trees are at peace here.
Huh.
And I kind of got talking to her Saturday about that, what she meant by that. She said, well, there's a dryad spirit. I couldn't remember what it was here when I was trying to tell my wife, but it was a dryad spirit.
Yeah.
She's like, it's at peace. She said, there are, how some trees are spooky and look evil and all that. She's like, all the trees out here are at peace, your property, you have a protective spirit over your property.
Yeah. When she first got there, she was telling me about it. And then later she told Andrea too. And It was really cool to hear.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I found that fascinating too. I'd like to delve more into that, you know, I mean, just to understand that, but I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is cool. And we had other great readers too. Lindsay Miles came back. She's a fantastic tarot reader. My daughter always loves going to her. She helps a lot with kind of like your future stuff. And I like her because she doesn't do this is going to be your future and this is what's going to happen. She goes, these few things could happen to you in the future if you take the right paths. And here's maybe some paths you might take to help you endeavor in that direction, but nothing is fixed. She always says that, you know, this isn't fixed. So, you know, and if you want some information, maybe like you're looking for a new job or, you know, you have an interview coming up, and she can be like, well, if you want this to be a good interview, maybe this is the correct path to take. Maybe you should do step to help you on your way. She's never like, this is your future. And that's it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
hey, Polar Nights.
I like Lindsay. Yeah. And she's super sweet too, just like
my
Christy.
wife. Oh yeah, she is. They're the ones that got here late Friday night. Kind of ate and run.
Yeah, they drove up from below Oklahoma City. They drove straight there.
Whoa,
so, yeah.
Yeah. We did a tarot reading with her, my wife and I, because my wife went last year. She wasn't able to get away this year. But we did a reading with her, and it was weird because my wife's my card, or the deck I drew, and you know, the cards, we did just kind of a short reading, and my wife drew a different deck, but all the cards that we drew were like intertwined, I guess you could say, or connected in some aspect, you know, that we were together. I mean, like, I can't remember the cards, but it was like the King of Hearts or whatever, and she was the Queen of Hearts or whatever. I can't remember the cards, but I'm not real familiar with the tarot, but I thought it was pretty neat.
Well, obviously you guys were intertwined.
He did all the oracles. Yeah. I mean,
you've been married to her how many times?
Right.
Poor lady.
Yeah, I know it.
Poor lady.
Guys,
and I've been the guy probably most of the time.
Hey, Mark, before you go, I emailed you. Did you get a call?
No, but I have to get off. I got a text. I need to. I need to get on that.
All right, buddy.
But you emailed me something.
Yeah, I just sent you the picture. I can send them to Phil.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sorry, guys.
Okay.
Not a problem.
Oh, no worries, man. You got stuff to take care of.
All right.
Yep. Take care of your stuff.
Y'all have a good night.
Talk to you later.
I'll try to get this on posted afterward. I may be able to, depending on how long you guys hold on, I might see you again.
Yeah, you do what you got to do, man. I understand.
Y'all have a good night.
Good night.
You too, bub. Yeah, she said I was the King of Swords and she was the Queen of Swords and all that. It was kind of cool.
That's neat.
Wow.
Yeah.
We need to get Enzo a reading.
Yes,
we do.
I would love to hear.
I think that's a great idea.
I was curious about the runes actually, but it was I don't want to take somebody else's spot, and just like was always kind of like running around, so I didn't want to.
I wanted to try to get over to her, but by the time I had enough time to do it. She had packed up.
Yeah. So the thing with that, so we were supposed to have an oracle reader, and some stuff happened, and she couldn't make it. And at the last minute, when she pulled the death card, it doesn't mean. Yeah,
she
it
said
doesn't
for a
always
tarot
mean
reading
that.
with Lindsay last year.
It just means change. It doesn't necessarily
when I pulled the death card.
I'm sure Lindsay loves the look on people's faces when she pulls that card just to see.
What do you think now?
Yeah. Anyways, we were supposed to have an oracle reader, and some stuff fell through at the last minute, and she couldn't make it. But Lindsay brought the rune reader with her, and I felt so bad. She also had a crystal ball reader, and we didn't have a space for her. We weren't prepped for that. And so she got put in the vendor area, and I don't even know if she got any business back there. I did tell her and the rune reader, I was like, if you want to be a part of this next year, please let me know early so we can make those accommodations. But I don't know if she got any business back there. I did tell her and the rune reader, I was like, if you want to be a part of this next year, please let me know early so we can make those accommodations. for you. Although, and I am going to let them know this. Yeah. I don't know if we're a big enough con yet to support like 4 or 5 readers like that. So I may like put the Nyx on the couple extra there and just leave it with like maybe Tarot and Christy for next year. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I don't know. You seem to be growing every year. I mean, this particular instance, that Saturday there was a lot of other things going on at the same time.
Yeah.
Where for next year you can maybe do a little more advertising, a little more showboating about what's coming up and what's available. I think you're going to
a little bit more. Holy cow! That's all I did. I did. So like, I should show you guys this. I don't have it with me right now, but maybe I'll pull it out one of these days. So coming 2 weeks to the end of August, I start the ads and they go out 2 a night. And I have a listing of like sponsors and panelists and presentations and the gift bags and door prizes and raffles and everything has an ad made for it. And I have a huge collection of them. And I start posting 2 of them a night on Facebook. And then that kind of goes out to like Instagram and stuff like that. And then I have to do a write-up with each one of those with all of the links. And I have to post them twice. One of them has to go into our event page, and the other one has to go onto our actual Facebook page. And you can't just save one copy and then post it on the other because it won't put the links. So I have to go in and pull those out and retype them out to have the links pop back up. So I spend about 45 minutes every evening starting 2 weeks at the end of August, putting out ads, and it drives me insane. I saved all of them for this year, though.
Have you looked into actually paying for Facebook ads, like $10 a week or something like that, and they'll run it out for you?
Yes, but unfortunately, like all this comes out of our own pockets, and literally a month out, we are dry. So even a $5 one seems.
And especially this year, Pam decided to have to, for whatever reason, buy a vehicle in the middle of everything. Got tired of walking.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's something we have looked into, and we were set it this year that we were absolutely going to do that. But it just, really when it comes down to it, like Mark is our worker guy too, but it's me and Pam really like coordinating everything in the background, and it's our money,
Yeah.
I literally wait until Mike's paycheck comes in and I'm going to pull this amount and we're going to get this week. We have a schedule set up of when we buy things just so that we can, select things at the correct time when we know we're going to have money here and there. And then,
Right.
So
I think this will be
low.
I think this would be a good time to close out because I'm going to have to run too shortly because it's getting close to bedtime.
Okay. 2.5 hours.
But
good Lord.
Okay, so planning for next year. I mean, I know we've shared it plenty of times on here. What is the website where people can donate if they want to donate, so we can start building for next year?
We don't have a donation thing set up on our website. That could be a good.
Maybe we should do that.
Huh?
Yeah, once you get it, let us know, and we'll promote it.
Have a donation thing on it.
Yeah,
I mean, I think it'd be a great idea.
Good idea.
Yeah, for sure.
Start building out.
Yeah, our big thing is we wanted to make sure that we stay within the legal limits of everything. So we haven't requested anything like that yet because we haven't done an LLC yet. That's our next step.
Yeah.
We're
trying to do it
now.
We've been trying to do it right, and we do appreciate all the donations come in, and we'll look into like maybe getting a donation thing put up. I hate begging for money though, because this is it's our baby, and we put in all the work and we put it on, but
I understand.
I do hate begging for money.
I believe you guys are at a point where you're about. I think this is my belief, especially after watching this year compared to last year. Last year was great. This year was better.
Yay.
And my belief is you guys are about to start growing exponentially. That's what I truly believe.
Yeah.
Because of the way you're organized, the way you're working it. Like when we've talked about it all tonight, the panels, everything's set up, the people coming in, the community that you guys have built and are building. I truly believe you guys are about to start growing exponentially.
I hope we don't grow too much too fast. Because we're going to die.
That's what I'm saying.
There's not enough of us to go around. We need like an army of Pams and an army of Jesses.
All you got to do is ask. Yeah. I know you don't. I mean, sometimes I'm going to tell you, like I told my son, you got to swallow your pride and ask.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys have probably had the conversation with your children.
Oh yeah.
But sometimes we got to reflect on ourselves and say, hey, maybe I need to ask. You guys are, we consider you guys family. We love you guys. We want to help you guys out as much as we can. Even if that's promoting on the show. My wife said she'd promote it.
Yay.
We'll promote it on our homesteading channel. I don't care.
Cool.
I mean, but people are willing to help. You just got to let us know when to help. So
exactly.
I don't know. We might consider maybe putting together like a Paracon board, a group of people that want to get together to help put it on.
That's probably a good idea. I mean,
because I don't know how much more we can do on our own. We're stretched pretty thin as it is.
You've done amazing work, to be honest, with just a couple of you. We talked about it earlier, how you had other people that are trying to organize their own thing. They're like, how are you doing this?
Yeah.
That's a testament to how good you are doing.
Yep.
Yeah.
And my wife
nice to hear.
My wife might storm upstairs and punch me in the mouth while we're live, but I'm going to offer the place up next year.
We're sorry, Andrea.
Yes.
I think I hear footsteps coming up the stairs. Wait a minute. What is that?
Yeah. We appreciate that. We did have a number of the speakers and panelists ask if we were going to have another cookout next year because they enjoyed themselves.
They did.
So we were going to chat with you about that. So
hopefully it's not a full moon so we can do some better sky watching. I mean, the full moon worked out great because for lighting, but because it was still really warm and I didn't want to get the campfire too hot. But but no, I mean, I enjoyed it. Yeah, sure, I was tired, but I mean, it was fun. It was a good time.
It was a really good time.
But we're all busy. I mean, it is what it is. So again, I mean, I'll offer up my place out here for everybody to come out and hang out, have a good time, relax, get to know each other, especially for newer people.
Mm-hmm.
But don't hesitate to ask for help. I'll be more than happy to help. I mean, my wife said she'd help. You guys had a good group of volunteers.
Awesome.
So.
Both of you were already a huge help this year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, and Enzo, you're probably going to hate it now because we're going to drag you down here more and put you to work.
My wife said, maybe we'll have new chairs for next year.
As long as the gas prices don't get any higher.
Right.
Oh, no kidding.
Well, yeah. So, anyway, we should probably get off here so Phil can go take his, I'm sure, have you even eaten dinner yet?
I haven't even eaten dinner. Hey, Mark.
Oh,
I'm back.
Mark's back.
I'm back just in time to.
Hey, is it me? Or is the green screen on Mark look like he's got hair?
It does like
it does look like I have some hair.
It does.
Book-shaped hair.
Oh my goodness. All righty.
But like I said, ladies, don't hesitate to ask for help. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of people out there that would be happy to help and step in.
Because that's the thing is we don't know when to like jump in. And it's like, okay, let me do this or anything because we don't want to interfere with whatever it is you're doing. We don't understand that. Give us the orders. We will fulfill them.
Maybe
one of my goals,
start, when we do our meetings, just go ahead and live stream these guys in or something so they can hear what's going on.
I mean, we could do that.
Yeah.
I was talking to I don't remember who I was talking to about it, but I was discussing. Oh, I was talking to Chris. I was talking to Chris in the green room. I was taking a little break, and she called it the Jessicon. She was like, "You gotta chill out, girlfriend." And I was like, "I know." I was like, and I I'm upfront about this. I always take too much on, and I sit there and I micromanage every little thing, and I need to learn to stop doing that. Yeah. And I think I did better this year, making sure everybody had some jobs to do. But I think this year I'm going to take a few of those things that are really tough on me that I have to micromanage during that day and train some other people on just that topic so that they can put out those little fires while I'm doing other things and I won't have to worry about it. Like, I was so thankful for Stacy Huey this year, who literally took over all of our helpers, like all of our volunteers. I told her who everyone was and gave her the crew badges and was just like, I don't have time. Round them up, figure out where you want to stick them, and make sure that there's help somewhere in the building wherever it's needed. And she just took care of it all. So that was one less thing on my plate.
She did a good job. And from my observation, as kind of being the outsider for all of this, I saw almost zero hitches throughout the entire day.
Yeah,
the actual
very few.
Luckily. Yeah, luckily.
I think the funniest one was when we came in, Dana came in going, where is the what was it? The photographer. What was it? What was it for?
It was a photo booth.
Yeah, where's the photo booth?
Where does the photo booth go?
And I was like, we don't have a photo booth. And she goes, oh, shit. It takes off running. And so I had to catch up with her, find out what was going on. They were in the wrong place. They were there for something else.
See, the elementary thing was so cool. You had other events were like trying to weasel in on how cool.
That's right. Well, actually, funnily enough, so that same night, the elementary school was having their school carnival, and that's what that was for. Yeah. And the elementary school is literally 2 blocks west of the rec center, on the same street. So I told Pam, I was like, why did you tell them they were in the wrong spot? You should just let them set up. It's not our fault they made it to the wrong building. Let them set up, and one more thing to add.
Set up next to the big alien,
right?
Yeah, right,
exactly. Right. So we should have let them stay. And I am sad that no poop boxes were taken to Brian.
I know.
This
year.
I
was shocked. I wanted to see the. Yeah.
I mean, we can arrange for
follow up to that.
Have you heard what he calls it?
We probably could have made one pretty quick.
He calls it the third of a turd box.
Third of a turd.
Because the dude broke it up into thirds. He buried 2 of the
you have to explain the story for people that are watching that don't know what it is.
Okay. So really quick, so that the guys can get off of here super fast. Last year, a crazy dude came in with a little box, and they vetted him at the front door and brought him to me and said, this dude wants to talk to somebody about his Bigfoot experience. I looked in the box, nothing bad. I didn't even know it was in the box. I took this dude to Brian because Brian takes all the Bigfoot stories. And I said, Brian, this gentleman has a Bigfoot story he wants to tell you. Brian said, great. Scooped him up. Off they went. That was the last I heard about it. Later on, long after the Paracon was over with, we found out that this dude had a turd in that box, had a piece of poop, and told him it was only a third of the poo because he knew it was from Bigfoot. Bigfoot had gifted him the poo, and he didn't want the government to find out because he knew that the government had tapped his house. So he had split it into thirds, and he buried 2 pieces of it on either ends of his property, so that the government wouldn't find out. And the third piece he kept stored in like a lockbox, and he brought it out specially on this day to show us. So that is Brian's third of a turd story. And he yelled at me for having brought this guy to him. And I was like, I didn't even know what was in the box. I was just,
what's in the box?
What's in the box?
Exactly. Right. But I will say, so I was a little perplexed. Jeff Hatfield, who could not come with him this time because he had gotten ill, I believe. he has this huge guitar that he takes with him to all the cons and stuff like that. And he has everybody that speaks sign it. So it's just covered in all of these signatures from all of these like cryptozoologists and paranormal people and stuff. And he brought this guitar to me towards the end of the Paracon last year and said, "Would you sign my guitar?" And I was like, absolutely. I was like, oh, maybe because, I help run the Paracon and he is enjoying himself. I was like, it'll be an honor to sign your guitar. So I signed it. And a couple weeks later, he messaged me and he was like, "Hey, it's Jeff Hatfield. I was the guy that had you sign my guitar." And he was like, "Do you know why I had you sign my guitar?" And I was like, I really don't, you tell me the story. And he goes, "Well, anybody who could make Brian open up a big fat turd is a rock star in my book." Yeah. And that's when I found out. I had no idea that's what that was in the box. No, and then the story came out and we were just like, oh no. And then Dana told me, Dana was the one that vetted the box at the front. And she knew I didn't have time. She didn't have time to explain to me. She had to get back to the front. And she was like, yeah. She was like, he came in holding this box like this. And she was like, I didn't know if there was a bomb in there or what could possibly be in there. And she made him take it outside and open it up and show her. And she was just like, I didn't know what to do, but I figured it can't hurt anybody, right? So she let him in. And I was like, it hurt Brian, I think, maybe, but I don't think he was like physically hurt, maybe mentally hurt.
I've been mentally damaged for years. It's fine.
But I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall when he cracked that box open for Brian.
Or a fly
I'm sure there may have been flies. It was.
Anywho, we should probably get off of here.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably so.
For sure.
Mark, I'll let you close it out since you opened her.
All right. Well, good night, folks. I hope that everybody has a wonderful evening, and I hope to see as many people as can be here at Paracon next year.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yep.
Good night, all.
Good night.
Good night.
Have a good one, everybody.
Before Mark gets off of here.